I shave my loves. It's me, your girl, Lucas Queen, coming at you. As promised, we're gonna talk about astrology. Okay? But this is a 4 hour book. So we're gonna break it down. We're gonna listen to it. And we'll do maybe about an hour or so of the book tonight. Like I said, we'll break it down into segments, into sessions rather. And then I'll probably get out my birth chart and discuss a little bit of it. And I might drop the link down in there. If y'all feel like y'all want to have a panel discussion or anything about it, I'll drop the link down in there and we'll chop it up. Okay, my loves. I just downloaded this book here. Y'all keep me spending money because I can't always, articulate the right words that I want to say for it, to say. So therefore, I get the tools that I need to do the job I have to do. This is the complete guide to astrology. I have my disclaimer in the box. I own the audio book, but I don't have no copyrights to the content of the book. This is strictly for educational purposes. We'll be discussing the natal chart, the birth chart, what the impact it has on your soul's journey and your life path, what so have you. Okay, my loves? So, the complete guide to astrology.
This is Audible.
Mutable Studios presents The Complete Guide to Astrology, Understanding Yourself, Your Signs, and Your Birth Chart. Written by Louise Eddington. Performed by Lisa Wilson. Visual aids found in the print edition of this book are available to you as a downloadable PDF. This file can be accessed in your library section along with the audio. Thank you. Introduction. Complete Guide to Astrology, Understanding Yourself, Your Signs, and Your Birth Chart is written for everyone from beginner to advanced practitioners and students. In this book, I endeavored to cover a wide range of information in an accessible and inclusive way. I see the astrological chart as a blueprint of potential and possibility. You will never find me saying that any sign or placement is all good or all bad.
Right.
And I believe that it is always possible to find a way through any challenges or blocks to growth, evolution, and compatibility. This book is written from that approach. We are nuanced and we all have the ability to consciously approach how we navigate our cosmic blueprint.
Right.
That said, I do not use spiritual override. That is, use spiritual practices to sidestep unresolved issues or wounds, as I prefer to take a firm look at the shadow and how that shadow can be healed or integrated rather than bypassed.
Exactly.
I now invite you to look at the subject of gender differently. Astrological language has traditionally been binary, using male and female and masculine and feminine labels. Yet our astrological chart, or cosmic blueprint, contains every planet and sign, and therefore they are all within each of us. The astrological chart does not show gender, so neither does this book. I focus on the whole person and their characteristics, removing binary identifiers entirely. The content of this book will give you a thorough grounding in key foundational areas of astrology and takes a radically different approach to astrological language as we come to understand that the planetary bodies and signs are innately non-binary in nature. Throughout this book, I integrate the terms day and night to replace masculine male and feminine female, respectively, as the two terms are less limiting. This is a concept that was used by the ancients and that loosely aligned with masculine and feminine for them. I will say more on this in Chapter 1. I would like to thank astrologer Jason Hawley for introducing me to this concept and the work of Robert Hand and Brian Clark for helping me expand upon it. The concepts of day and night allow us to take a more humanistic approach to the inner landscape of the soul. Therefore, although this book is partly an instruction manual to help you interpret your chart, it's also asking you to take a more radical and non-binary approach to the language of astrology. I have always loved astrology. I still have things I wrote as a young teen delineating sun sign qualities. It wasn't until my first Saturn return at age 29, when Saturn returns to the position it was at in one's natal chart, that I discovered what I then called real astrology. A friend read my chart for me and gave me some books, and I was hooked. That was in 1989. I devoured those books, taught myself how to hand draw natal charts, bought and devoured more books, subscribed to magazines, and practiced on my friends and their children. I then got married and had children, and my astrological intensity faded for a few years, though I never lost my fascination with astrology. By October 2012, I had moved continents twice, from the United Kingdom to Australia to the United States. My children were 15 and 13, and I was working in the coaching world when I had a revelation that my purpose was to work as a professional astrologer. I worked with a teacher one-on-one and took other classes to hone the art. And within a few months, I began to work professionally as an astrologer. I still take classes today because astrology is a glorious and never-ending rabbit hole where there is always more to discover. I have now done thousands of readings, run classes, and written astrology articles almost daily. In November 2018, I published my first book, Modern Astrology: Harness the Stars to Discover Your Soul's True Purpose, which I wrote as a tool for personal growth. I am also a shamanic practitioner and an activist. I am a Sagittarius sun with a Sagittarius stellium in the 11th and 12th houses, Sagittarius rising, and a Gemini moon. For those of you who already understand the basics of astrology, that will tell you that I am a writer, a teacher, and attracted to social and political justice, which I cannot help but bring into my work. This book is written for those who wish to take their astrological study to another level and to do so from a place of inclusivity. This book is for everyone. Welcome. The building blocks of astrology. In part 1, we'll be taking a brief look at the history of astrology, where astrology is today, and how to look at the language of astrology in a new way. We'll also be covering some of the basic building blocks of the astrological chart and how you can start to interpret yours. Part 1. The building blocks of astrology. In part 1, we'll be taking a brief look at the history of astrology, where astrology is today, and how to look at the language of astrology in a new way. We'll also be covering some of the basic building blocks of the astrological chart and how you can start to interpret yours. Chapter 1. An astrological foundation. For millennia, astrology has been used to predict events. More recently, people have begun using astrology as a tool for personal development and growth, seeking insight into their personal patterns, limiting beliefs, and potential. Astrology can help us live in alignment with the elements and cycles of nature, choose optimum timing for everything from farming to relationships to work life, and engage in psychological exploration and past life lessons. Astrology can help us heal our disconnection with the natural cycles of the universe and live in harmony with the cosmic cycles as they work within us. At its highest level, astrology is a tool that brings each of us into a higher spiritual connection with the universe and the cycles of the universe, helping us make conscious choices to live up to our highest potential. My approach to consciousness is humanistic and psychological, and the inner landscape is my focus. We each have every planet and sign working within our soul consciousness. The language of astrology has inadequately expressed that up until now. Times are changing, and so must the language of astrology. Why does astrology work? That's an eternal question, but my response is that it's based on thousands of years of observation. Even though it has been through periods of decline, humanity has always returned to the study of astrology because skilled interpretation of the movements of the cosmos provides answers to the meaning and cycles of life. What is astrology? Astrology is an ancient science that uses observation of the planetary cycles and movements over time to record patterns and events triggered by the movement of the cosmos. As the moon's cycles so clearly affect the Earth's tides, menstrual, and other biorhythmic cycles, and our emotional energies, the other cosmic bodies, luminaries, planets, asteroids, and beyond work within us as well. Everything in the universe is connected, a fact long known by astrologers, but now being recognized by scientists using quantum mechanics, which suggests that every atom affects other atoms. In quantum physics, everything is made of waves and particles and works according to entanglement theory, which suggests that no particle is entirely independent. In a nutshell, everything in the universe works together, and the movements of the cosmic bodies activate energy within us and the natural world. In other words, we are entangled with the entire universe. All the energies intertwine in an intricate dance of planetary magic and science, and the language of astrology interprets that dance. The roots of astrology go back thousands of years. Archaeologists have found evidence that humans may have tracked lunar cycles from the earliest of times, such as cave paintings marked with lunar cycles. Some of this evidence may date back as far as 30,000 BCE. Astrology is often said to be based on calendrical systems, but I would suggest that calendrical systems are based on the movement of the cosmic bodies. The earliest calendars were based on the movement of the sun, the star Sirius, the Egyptian calendar, or the moon, Greek calendar. In other words, witnessing and recording the planetary cycles came first, and then calendrical systems came from the movement of the cosmos. This means that astrology is at the root of all our lives. Astrology has evolved over thousands of years, and there are several different astrological disciplines, including but not limited to Vedic, Jyotish Vidya, or Hindi astrology, which is based on the sidereal zodiac rather than the tropical zodiac used by Western astrology. Chinese astrology, which is based on a 12-year cycle. Hellenistic astrology, which is a Greco-Roman tradition practiced from the 1st century BCE until the 7th century CE and currently experiencing a revival. And modern Western astrology, which is my own practice and is based on the tropical zodiac. Western astrology originated from Ptolemaic and Babylonian astrology, which takes a more psychological and developmental approach. Key figures in astrological history include Ptolemy, 2nd century CE, who wrote one of the key astrological texts, the Tetrabiblios. Carl Jung, 1875 to 1961, who was a pioneer in using astrology in the field of psychology. Alan Leo, 1860 to 1917, often called the father of modern astrology, and one of my personal favorites, Dane Rudhyar, 1895 to 1985, who coined the term humanistic astrology and helped pioneer modern astrological practices. This book is based on the modern Western tradition. However, all traditions have validity and only differ in their approach, some being more predictive, such as Vedic, and some taking a more personal growth or psychological approach. Modern Western astrology is centered on creating a chart or horoscope that is cast for a specific time, date, and place using the tropical zodiac, which is based on the symbolic relationship between the Earth and the Sun. The tropical zodiac divides the ecliptic into 12 equal parts of 30 degrees each, the signs, and is oriented to the seasons, with the zodiac beginning on the vernal equinox, when the sun moves into Aries. The ecliptic is an imaginary line or plane in the sky that marks the apparent annual path of the sun along which eclipses occur. Astrology's historical origins. Apart from the early evidence of the tracking of lunar cycles in cave paintings and on bones, the recorded history of astrology really began with the Sumerians in Mesopotamia 6,000 years ago, who noted the movements of the cosmos, as well as Vedic or Jyotish astrology, which began at least 5,000 years ago in India. From around 2400 to 331 BCE, the Babylonians, also known as the Chaldeans, created the zodiac wheel with planets, the 12 houses representing areas of life and development. After Alexander the Great conquered the Babylonians, the Greeks further developed astrology, giving the planets and zodiac signs their modern names. In 140 CE, Ptolemy published Tetrabiblios, which contained planets, houses, aspects, and angles, all techniques astrologers still use to this day. Over the centuries, the study and use of astrology waxed and waned in the West. But it flourished in the Middle Ages, when it was a part of mathematics, astronomy, and the medical world. There were royal astrologers, and the oldest universities had astrology chairs. As the church gained power, astrology began to decline. The Age of Reason, including the Protestant Reform movement in the 17th and 18th centuries, began to promote reason and skepticism over what came to be seen as entertainment only. Astrology therefore lost popularity until its resurgence in the late 19th century. Astrology today. Western astrology as we know it today began its resurgence in the late 19th century. Alan Leo is generally credited with the beginning of the renewed interest in astrology and the development of a more spiritual and esoteric approach as a theosophist. Theosophy is a teaching about God and the world based on mystical insights. Alan Leo introduced the concepts of karma and reincarnation into his work as an astrologer and began the move away from event-oriented astrology into character analysis. Another theosophist, Dane Rudhyar, was also involved in this resurgence. He really began the psychological approach to astrology and coined the term humanistic astrology. Rudhyar's work was based on theosophy and Eastern philosophies primarily, and he was influenced by the psychology of Carl Jung. Rudhyar's work is the basis of much of the modern astrology developed in the 1960s and 1970s. Most modern Western astrology is focused on the psychological and humanistic side, though there is currently a resurgence in some more ancient and predictive techniques, especially among younger astrologers. The gender assignments of planets and signs are problematic in the modern world. The feminine has primarily been designated as passive, receptive, weak, dark, and destructive, whereas the masculine has been designated as powerful, action-oriented, light, positive, and dominant. And there has been no consideration of other genders. The planet names are based on the Roman and Greek pantheons, which were firmly patriarchal in nature. Only the moon and Venus of the main essential bodies were designated as feminine. This isn't true of many older cultures where the planets were seen differently. For example, there were many sun goddesses in ancient cultures, and the moon was often seen as the sperm to the sun's ovum. In this book, I am moving away from these binary definitions, as we are all the sun and the moon and other planetary bodies, and each cosmic body has both strengths and weaknesses that are not gender specific. Here, we'll be integrating and expanding on the theory of an old Hellenistic technique called sects, which defined planets as diurnal of the day and nocturnal of the night. In this system, the Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn were diurnal, and Venus, Mars, and the Moon were nocturnal. Mercury bridged the gap. In the vein of some current astrologers working to create a more inclusive and non-binary approach to astrological language, we'll be using the words day and night. These delineations make sense as day and night are visible. Day is more yang or outward oriented, and night is more yin or inward oriented. As the planetary table in the astrological tables section shows clearly, the 5 personal planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, all have both day and night qualities, depending on the energy of the sign of traditional rulership. This adds a deeper interpretation, moving us away from the inherently patriarchal and binary language of astrology that has been used until now. The solar system is a living, breathing, and pulsing organism that inhales, diurnal, and exhales, nocturnal, with all planetary bodies, signs, houses, and aspects having either day, inhale energy, or night, exhale energy, sometimes both. I associate day with the energy of the inhalation because we inhale the breath of life to give ourselves the outgoing energy for the day. At night, we release or exhale to recharge. This reflects the quantum entanglement of the solar system within each living organism and within each of us. Famous astrology followers. Throughout history, astrology has been popular with leaders, rulers, and other famous people. Catholic popes were interested in astrology in the Middle Ages and relied on the predictions and advice of astrologers for the timing of coronations and to help them make important decisions. A college for astrologers was founded in Paris by Charles V. Catherine de Medici was known to consult with Nostradamus, and Ronald and Nancy Reagan regularly consulted with astrologers. J.P. Morgan was one of many business leaders who consulted astrology before making business decisions, and once said in a court deposition, millionaires don't have astrologers, billionaires do. Additionally, former U.S. Secretary of the Treasury Donald Regan once said, It's common knowledge that a large percentage of Wall Street brokers use astrology. Other celebrities and well-known people who are known to have consulted with astrologers include Lady Gaga, Madonna, Albert Einstein, and Theodore Roosevelt. Chapter 2. The 4 elements and 3 modalities. In this chapter, I will be exploring the 3 modalities: cardinal, fixed, and mutable, and the 4 key elements: fire, earth, air, and water. Modalities are also known as the qualities of the signs, or their basic modus operandi, the way they work. Each of the 3 modalities includes 4 astrological signs, one from each of the elements. The 4 elements each represent one characteristic. Fire represents spirit, water represents emotion, air represents intellect, and earth represents the physical. The zodiac, like the universe itself, is composed of these 4 elements, and in astrology, they represent archetypal characteristics within a person. As the luminaries, planets, asteroids, and other cosmic bodies work in alignment with us, so too do the elements. The elements also work in harmony with each other, so please be aware that every element is contained within each person. Each element is connected to 3 signs of the zodiac, and the predominant element in a horoscope gives a clear indication of how a person reacts, responds, and behaves. An analysis of the elemental balance alone in the chart can say a lot about the primary traits of a person. The 4 elements are further divided into the 3 modalities as follows. Aries is cardinal fire. Taurus is fixed earth. Gemini is mutable air. Cancer is cardinal water. Leo is fixed fire. Virgo is mutable earth. Libra is cardinal air. Scorpio is fixed water. Sagittarius is mutable fire. Capricorn is cardinal earth. Aquarius is fixed air. Pisces is mutable water. Blending the elements with the modalities gives us even more information about the primary traits of a person. For example, Gemini is mutable air and is therefore more likely to be very changeable. Libra is cardinal air and more likely to initiate new ideas. Cardinal modality. The first of the 3 modalities is the cardinal modality, which is associated with the 4 signs that begin each quadrant of the natural zodiac: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Aries and Libra are the day, or inhale. Cardinal signs and Cancer and Capricorn are the night, or exhale signs. As modalities represent the basic mode of operation of a sign, all 4 cardinal signs are initiating energies that begin a new season or stage of life, and this, therefore, is reflected in their nature. Cardinal signs like to begin new projects. They are the pioneers of the zodiac, but may lack the staying power needed to bring ideas and projects to fruition. Fixed modality. The second of the 3 modalities is the fixed modality, which is associated with the 4 signs that are in the middle of each quadrant of the natural zodiac: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Here we also have 2 night, or exhale signs, Taurus and Scorpio, and 2 day, or inhale signs, Leo and Aquarius. The fixed signs do exactly what they say they will. Their basic way of behaving is to fix in place that which was initiated by the cardinal signs. They have the staying power to make the projects, plans, and ideas of the cardinal or initiating signs happen. Fixed signs generally like continuity and dislike change, but life and the universe are ever moving, which brings us to the 3rd modality. Mutable modality. Third of the 3 modalities is the mutable modality, which is associated with the 4 signs that end each quadrant of the natural zodiac and that lead into the beginning of the next: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Gemini and Sagittarius are the day, or inhale signs, and Virgo and Pisces are the night, or exhale signs. As their name suggests, mutable signs are very flexible, changeable, and versatile. They can usually see all sides of issues and cope well when life throws change at them. They can, however, easily lose focus and purpose in life and are likely to suffer from shiny object syndrome and distraction. The horoscope as the medicine wheel. 4 elements and the 4 signs of the cardinal modality have also been used in shamanic cultures for millennia as the medicine wheel, which represents the 4 cardinal directions called in ceremony and the beginning of the seasons. In the northern hemisphere, cardinal Aries, fire, begins spring. Cardinal Cancer, water, begins summer. Cardinal Libra, air, begins fall. And cardinal Capricorn, earth, begins winter. These are reversed in the southern hemisphere. The 4 directions also represent stages of life: birth, east, fire, new beginnings; youth, south, water, emotional innocence and trust; adulthood, west, earth, physical energy; and elderhood, north, air, wisdom. The whole horoscope could therefore be seen as a medicine wheel or sacred hoop of life to align with. Please note that this is one way of looking at this, and different shamanic traditions look at the wheel of life differently. The seasons of the year align with the seasons of life through birth: spring, youth; summer, adulthood; fall, and elderhood, winter. Everything is connected in a great mandala of creation. Fire. Fire is the energy of transformation and action and is day, inhale energy. As we inhale life, we draw breath to gain energy. We also expand our lungs on inhalation. Fire signs and planets are expansive or outgoing. Fire is heat and movement. Think about the energy of flames as you watch them flicker and dance, and you get a feeling for the element of fire. The sun provides the earth and humanity with the heat and light we need to survive. Fire is fast-moving and transformative, like a phoenix rising from the ashes of destruction. The 3 fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, are positive, inspirational, enthusiastic, and confident. They are more associated with day energy, which is more direct and focused outward, but all signs have some fire energy contained within, as we are all elements in differing quantities. Aries, ruled by the warrior god Mars, is the first of the fire signs and is the most direct and focused. Leo, ruled by the sun, is confident and loves attention. Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, is expansive and inspirational. Any placements, luminaries, planets, asteroids, or angles in fire signs will take on these characteristics. For example, those with Venus, values, and love in Aries are very direct and more warrior-like in relationships. People with Mercury, the mind and communication, in Leo have a communication style that conveys authority. Water. Water is the energy of receptivity and emotion and is a night exhale energy. Water, like emotions, is fluid and shifting. Water makes up a huge percentage of the human body and could be said to be the most crucial element. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces are the 3 water signs. All are deeply intuitive and creative energies. The moon rules Cancer and is associated with nurturing and mothering. Pluto rules Scorpio, which reflects the depth of this sign and is associated with obsession and psychological depths. Neptune rules Pisces and is associated with all meditative or altered states, as well as the connection to the collective unconscious or spirit energy. Any placements in water signs take on a more fluid energy. Someone with Mercury, the mind and communication, in Cancer, for example, receives information instinctively and retains it at a deep level, since Cancer is a receptive night energy. Air. Air is the energy of the mind or thought and is a day, inhale energy. This is the breath and the wind. We can't hold on to breath. It flows in and out, and wind is needed to stop the air around us from becoming stagnant. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius are the 3 air signs, and they are the signs of thought, ideas, sociability, and the analytical. Air signs are associated with rationality and the right brain. Gemini, ruled by Mercury, is associated with duality and learning. Libra, ruled by Venus, is associated with diplomacy, relationships, and mediation. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus and is associated with the internet because of its connectivity of thoughts, ideas, and people, higher intellect, inventiveness, and innovation. Any placements in air signs take on an airier flavor. Someone with Mars, drive and will, in Gemini, for example, is a fast learner and likely to speak very quickly and directly. Earth. Earth is the energy of the material world, energy that you can touch and feel. Earth is stable, practical, and patient, and it is a night exhale energy. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn are the 3 earth signs, and they are the signs of hard work, building, creating material things, and connection to the material world and structures. Earth signs are sensual, have creative qualities, and are connected to the natural cycles of nature, as well as the human cycle of birth, life, and death. Taurus, ruled by Venus, is the most connected with the material world and the earth itself. Virgo, ruled by Mercury, is more connected with the technical world and crafts. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is the pioneer of the earth signs and is the leadership and achievement-oriented sign. Any placements in earth signs will take on the flavor of the sign. For example, someone with Mars, drive and will, in Taurus will be slower and more deliberate than someone with Mars in the sign of rulership. Aries, which is very fast-moving and direct. Chapter 3. The Sun Signs. In this chapter, I will be discussing the 12 sun signs of the zodiac. In contemporary astrology, the sun signs represent our core self and could be said to represent our ego. The sun signs are the part of the self that almost everyone knows and the primary energy that fuels our being. I will provide keywords, technical details such as ruling planet, and some fun facts about each sign. We'll be looking at dualities, night, feminine, yin or day, masculine, yang, in this section. View the signs as an evolution of personal development from birth. Aries, to end of life. Pisces, so that you can gain a deeper understanding of how the signs work within you. We all have energy from every sign within us, no matter what our sun sign is. Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and is seen by most to be the start of the astrological year. The ingress, or moving into, of the sun into Aries signals the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, and Aries is the first sign in the natural horoscope ruling the first house. The sign spans the first 30 degrees of the zodiac, and the sun transits the sign from the equinox, approximately March 21st, to April 20th. These dates change according to the sun's actual movement in the sky from our perspective here on Earth. Aries is a day cardinal fire sign, is ruled by Mars, the god of war, and represents youth, which is very focused on the self. The Aries symbol is the ram, and its glyph represents the horns of the ram. Aries is in polarity with the sign of Libra, an air sign, which means they are complementary and work well together. The dominant keyword for Aries is I am, which means they are all about the self and like to come first. Aries rules the head and eyes. Red is the color associated with Aries, diamond is the birthstone, and iron is the metal. The most likable traits for Aries are that they are dynamic, pioneering, and seen as leaders by others. Inwardly, they have a healthy self-interest and are very courageous. They may have a tendency to be aggressive and reactionary if their directness isn't tempered. Others see Aries as impatient, fast-moving, and daring. Lady Gaga, Elton John, Nancy Pelosi, and Leonardo da Vinci were all born under the sign of Aries. Taurus. Second sign of the zodiac is Taurus. The sun transits this sign from about April 21st to May 20th, and it rules the second house. Taurus is a night fixed earth sign and is ruled by Venus in her material world incarnation as goddess of the manifest. Like Aries, this sign is represented by a horned animal, the bull, indicating that these first two signs are very straightforward and head first. The glyph for Taurus represents the head and horns of the bull. Taurus represents the stage of life that realizes the connection with the physical world. Scorpio is the sign that is in polarity to Taurus, and the two complement each other well. Like the strong and solid bull that represents the sign, the dominant keyword for Taurus is build, as those born under the sign love to develop all that endures. The sign of Taurus is associated with the throat and vocal cords. The gemstone most associated with the sign is emerald, but being the most material of signs, Taurus is also associated with sapphires, and copper is the metal. Taurus embodies animal wisdom in that they have finely honed senses and are sensual, practical, and loyal. Inwardly, they are deeply grounded, patient, and steady, but this can also lead to the tendency to be stubborn or bullheaded and overly materialistic in the pursuit of security. Others see Taurus as stable and lacking in pretense. Queen Elizabeth II, Mark Zuckerberg, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson were born under the sign of Taurus. The nickname "The Rock" really is emblematic of the sign, as rocks are of the earth element. Gemini. Gemini spans the third 30 degrees of the zodiac. The sun transits this sign from about May 21st to June 20th, and Gemini rules the third house of the zodiac. Gemini is a day mutable air sign and is one of the two signs ruled by Mercury in his mind, messenger incarnation. This sign symbolizes the twins and is represented by a glyph of twins that are both separate and connected. Gemini represents the stage of life when we begin to communicate verbally and to realize both our connection to and our separation from each other. Sagittarius is the sign that is in polarity to Gemini. Just as Gemini is the sign of the twins, there are a few gemstones said to be lucky for the sign. Yellow stones are most often seen as lucky, such as agate, citrine, and amber. It's no surprise that Gemini's lucky metal is Mercury itself. Gemini is associated with the chest, lungs, nervous system, arms, and shoulders. Gemini is the thinker and symbolizes the mind, voice, and communication. Their inner life is curious, observant, often scattered, and may be highly strung. Geminis are seen as social and verbally expressive, but sometimes manipulative and duplicitous. John F. Kennedy, Donald Trump, Paul McCartney, Prince, and Bob Dylan were all born under the sign of Gemini. Cancer. Cancer is the fourth sign of the zodiac. From about June 21st to July 20th, the sun transits the sign of Cancer. Cancer is a night cardinal water sign. The sign is represented by the crab, and its glyph is the two pincers of the crab in protective mode. This already says a lot about the energy of the sign of Cancer, as Cancers are primarily introverted and protective. The polarity to Cancer is the earth sign of Capricorn. The lucky metal and gemstones associated with the sign are reflective of its ruler, the moon. The metal is silver, and the stones are moonstone, pearl, and white quartz. Cancer is associated with the stomach, chest, and breast. Feel is the primary word for this sign, and Cancers are all emotion and intuition. Cancer is the nurturer of the zodiac and very tradition and family-oriented. Inwardly, the sign is extremely sensitive and can tend towards being insecure and giving too much, to the point of ignoring their own needs. Others see them as responsive and loving, but they can also be moody. Princess Diana, the Dalai Lama, Tom Cruise, and Meryl Streep were all born under the sign of Cancer. Popular astrology forecasts. Astrological forecasts that appear on online sites and in magazines and newspapers are the analysis of the chart for each of the signs as a whole and are general in nature. They do, however, have validity, especially if you know your rising sign and can read the forecast for that sign as well as the sun sign. These forecasts, when done well, will look at the primary transits of the planets currently and how they affect each astrological house after placing the sun sign on the cusp of the first house in a chart for the current time. For example, if Pluto is in Capricorn by transit and being activated by other transits, and you have a Libra sun, then the forecast will be based on a chart with your Libra sun on the first house cusp. This chart will then show Pluto transiting in your third house, as Capricorn is the third sign after Libra. This may not be your actual third house in your natal chart, but will still have some resonance. If you are a Libra rising, then the forecast will be speaking generally about the areas of life contained by your own third house. If you like to read general forecasts, knowing your ascendant will be beneficial. Theo. fifth sign of the zodiac is Leo. The sun transits the sign of Leo from around July 21st to August 20th. Leo is a day-fixed fire sign and is ruled by the sun. The lion is the symbol of this regal sign, and its glyph represents the lion's head and mane. The sign of polarity is Aquarius. Unsurprisingly, gold is the metal associated with Leo, and the lucky gemstones are golden and amber colors, such as amber, tiger's eye, and yellow topaz. Leo rules the heart, spine, and upper back. Leos are born to lead, and that is their primary word. Whether king, queen, or leader in their own home, Leos are born to shine and charm. They crave attention and tend to be melodramatic and superior when in shadow. Otherwise, Leos are dynamic, self-confident, and playful. At their best, they are magnetic and affectionate and light up the lives of those around them because they carry the sun's radiance within. Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Madonna, and James Baldwin were all born under the sign of Leo. Virgo. The sixth sign of the zodiac is Virgo. The sun transits the sign of Virgo from around August 21st to September 20th. Virgo is a night mutable earth sign, the second sign to be ruled by Mercury, but in a more technical, detail-oriented, hands-on incarnation. This sign is represented by the maiden or virgin, meaning in this case, one who is whole unto herself. Its glyph resembles the letter M for maiden, carrying a shaft of wheat to represent the harvest. This suggests a state of being that reflects the energies of Virgo rather than merely a gender. Pisces is the sign in polarity to Virgo. Like Gemini, the other Mercury-ruled sign, Virgo's metal is Mercury itself, and the lucky gemstones associated with the sign are sapphire, jade, and jasper. The digestive system and spleen are associated with Virgo. Virgo energy embodies the principle of service, as they love to feel useful in the world. Virgos are attentive to detail and very analytical. Their inner world is often self-critical, and they are worriers. They can tend to servitude rather than service and forget to take care of themselves in the process. Others see Virgos as ethical and organized, though I find it to be somewhat of a myth that Virgos are always tidy. This is in part because their perfectionist tendencies can lead to analysis paralysis. Analyze is the primary word for Virgo. Prince Harry, Mother Teresa, Bernie Sanders, and Freddie Mercury of Queen were all born under the sign of Virgo. Libra. Libra is the seventh sign of the zodiac. Libra season has the sun transiting the sign from around September 21st to October 20th. Libra is a day cardinal air sign. Libra is ruled by Venus in her more cerebral incarnation. The symbol of Libra is the scales, and its glyph reflects both balance and the setting sun as we enter autumn in the northern hemisphere, or the rising sun in the southern hemisphere. Aries is the sign of polarity. Peridot and topaz are Libra's lucky gemstones, and the associated metal is copper. The kidneys, skin, lower back, and buttocks are ruled by Libra. Balance is the primary word for Libras because they try to find the middle ground and harmonious balance in all that they do. Libra is the diplomat and mediator of the zodiac. Because of that, they can come across as indecisive, vacillating, and even passive-aggressive at times. Generally, Libra comes across as fair, peace-loving, and creative. Inwardly, they are focused on others and relationships. Examples of well-known Librans are Mahatma Gandhi, Serena Williams, Will Smith, and Oscar Wilde. Scorpio. Ruling the 8th house and therefore the 8th sign is Scorpio. The sun transits the sign of Scorpio from around October 21st to November 20th. Scorpio is a night-fixed water sign ruled by Pluto, modern, and Mars, traditional. A deep and complex sign, both its symbol and its glyph represent the scorpion, its stinger suggesting the potentially stinging nature of Scorpio. As a highly complex and transformational sign, however, Scorpio is also associated with the serpent, a symbol of transformation, and the phoenix, a symbol of rebirth. Taurus is the sign of polarity. Iron and steel are associated with Scorpio, and ruby and garnet are the lucky gemstones. Scorpio rules the reproductive system and sexual organs. Desire is the primary word for the sign of Scorpio, as it reflects the emotional depth and complexity of this magnetic and private sign. Scorpio is seen as magnetic, powerful, and sometimes intimidating by others. Internally, they can be brooding and obsessive, but also deeply instinctual and psychological. When Scorpios are able to dive into the most emotionally intense issues of life, they are able to connect with their true power. Pablo Picasso, Hedy Lamarr, RuPaul, Leonardo DiCaprio, Lisa Bonet, and John Gotti were all born under the sign of Scorpio. Different uses for astrology. Although this book deals with natal astrology, it's important to note that astrology has many uses that can be explored both separately and in conjunction with the natal chart. Mundane astrology is the astrology of events, organizations, elections, countries, and weather events. The word mundane is from the Latin mundanus, meaning worldly. Any event or organization has an inception chart, which is read in a similar way to the natal chart. Financial astrology is a specialty that predicts financial events and cycles. Horary astrology is a tool used to answer a specific question based on the time the question is posed. This technique is used for anything where a question can be asked, such as, "Where are my keys?" Medical astrology is used to diagnose and treat illness and can also be used for prevention, as it can show areas of weakness in a person's health. Astrocartography, or locational astrology, is based on planetary lines drawn around the globe to indicate how a facet of a person's life is either enhanced or diminished by living in a specific place. Sagittarius. Sign ruling the 9th house is Sagittarius. The sun transits the sign from around November 21st to December 20th. Sagittarius is a day mutable fire sign ruled by Jupiter. The glyph for Sagittarius is an arrow pointing to the stars and reflects the symbol of the archer, who is half human and half horse. Both the glyph and symbol reflect the forward-thinking visionary energy of the sign. Gemini is the sign in polarity. Sagittarius rules the hips, thighs, and liver. Turquoise and amethyst are the lucky stones for Sagittarius, and the metal is tin. Wander and wonder are the primary words for Sagittarius because they like to wander physically and mentally, and they often live in a state of wonder at the world. Sagittarius is the seeker of truth and freedom and loves exploration of all kinds. They are often seen as naive, inspirational, and eternal optimists. Spiritually oriented and visionary, they have the ability to see the big picture of life. If Sagittarius embraces life as a quest for experience and truth, their tendency towards naivete can become higher wisdom. Walt Disney, Jane Fonda, Jimi Hendrix, Jay-Z, and Gianni Versace were all born under the sign of Sagittarius. Capricorn. The 10th sign of the zodiac is Capricorn, and it is ruled by Saturn. The sun transits the sign of Capricorn from around December 21st to January 20th. Capricorn is a night cardinal earth sign. The symbol for Capricorn is the sea goat, and the glyph represents the hoof of the goat with the tail of a fish. This softer side of Capricorn has been lost in many astrological texts. The polarity of the sign is Cancer. Capricorn rules the skeletal system, teeth, and joints. Capricorn's metal is lead, and the gemstone is ruby. The primary word for Capricorn is achieve. Capricorns are focused on climbing the ladder of achievement, but may have a tendency to do so based on the expectations of the outer world rather than based on a foundation of self-trust, which is where the tail of the fish comes in. Capricorn is seen as responsible and determined, but also at times controlling and fearful. Inwardly, although Capricorn is hardworking and law-abiding, there is often an underlying fear of never being enough. Their commitment and leadership qualities are their strengths. Jeff Bezos, Elvis Presley, Michelle Obama, and Betty White were all born under the sign of Capricorn. Aquarius. Ruling the 11th house of the zodiac is Aquarius. The sun transits the sign of Aquarius from around January 21st to February 20th. Aquarius is a day-fixed air sign and is ruled by Uranus, modern, and Saturn, traditional. Although the symbol for Aquarius is a water bearer, what the glyph actually represents is waves of energy. The symbol is pouring spirit or energy down from the heavens. This indicates the otherworldly quality of the sign. The polarity of this sign is Leo. The sign's associated metal is lead, and the gemstones are obsidian and sapphire. Aquarius rules the calves, ankles, and nervous system. Aquarians are the individuals of the zodiac, and their primary word is no. Aquarians are sometimes seen as the weirdos of the zodiac, as they are unpredictable, inventive, and original in nature. Aquarians are socially conscious and are dedicated to causes and reform, but they can also be emotionally distant and even anarchistic at times. Because they often feel alienated from those around them, they are sometimes tempted to betray their convictions to fit in, but their path is to embody their personal truth no matter what. Oprah Winfrey, Bob Marley, Ellen DeGeneres, and Franklin D. Roosevelt were all born under the sign of Aquarius. Pisces. 12th and final sign of the zodiac is Pisces. From around February 21st to March 20th, the sun transits the sign of Pisces. Pisces is a night mutable water sign. The symbol for Pisces is the fish, and its glyph represents two fish swimming in different directions, yet connected by a cord. If we look at the zodiac as a path of human development, Pisces is the time of death and the time before birth, the amniotic fluid.
Wow.
Endings and beginnings. Neptune, modern, and Jupiter, traditional, are the rulers of Pisces. The polarity of the sign is Virgo. Pisces rules the feet, the lymphatic system, and the third eye. The stones corresponding to this sign are white diamond, aquamarine, and amethyst, and the metal is tin. Pisces is the most spiritual and compassionate sign, and their primary word is believe. They are seen as highly sensitive, creative, and mystical beings. Pisces often struggle with boundaries and are extreme empaths, which can cause them to fall into the role of victim or martyr. Like the symbol of the fish swimming in two directions, it's the lesson of Pisces to live in the realms of the manifest and the mystical. If they can become comfortable with being an agent of spirit in the physical realm, they will avoid the escapist and addictive tendencies they may turn to on occasion. Pisces is associated with the energies of magic and the movies. Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, Dr. Seuss, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and Kurt Cobain were all born under the sign of Pisces. Chapter 4. The Ascendant or Rising Sign and Decans. This chapter, I will be discussing the 12 rising signs of the zodiac, also called the Ascendants. Your rising sign is the sign that was on the eastern horizon at the moment of your birth and is the angle of 9 o'clock on the astrological chart. More precisely, it's where the horizon line or plane intersects the ecliptic plane, the apparent plane of the sun throughout the year from our perspective. The ascendant is how people see you when they first meet you and what you present to others, often called the persona or mask. I prefer the term receptionist, but any will work. It's the most visible aspect of a person when they show up in the world, the first impression others have of you. It also represents the conditioning brought by your birth and early childhood. All that you are is filtered through your ascendant. The exact time of birth is needed to accurately calculate your rising sign, as the ascendant is based on that date, time, and place. Every chart has a ruling planet, and it's the planet that rules the sign on the ascendant that is the person's ruling planet. For example, if a chart has Sagittarius rising, the ruling planet is Jupiter.
Yeah, I emailed
the ruling
you back.
planet is one of the most important planets in any chart. The placement of that planet and any planets that are conjunct or close to the ascendant will modify the energy of the ascendant. Looking at all of this together is how we begin to create a picture of an individual. Because although all people with the same rising sign will be similar, we are each unique once we begin to blend the whole chart. We'll also be looking at
What's
the
going
decans
on,
of each
Bomb
sign.
Mom?
Every sign spans 30 degrees, and then each sign broken down into 10-degree sections called decans.
I was looking up the Bloodstone for you because I had watched it. It was
of the sign to each decan. The first.
The bomb mom. What's
hey,
up?
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. No, I had sent you an email earlier, but that's off topic. I was looking up the Bloodstone when you asked what's up. I was looking up because it's got a lot of different uses. It's supposed to increase courage, motivation, creative energy. It says it's also beneficial for endurance, physical strength. In addition, Bloodstone can remove blocks that are keeping us stuck, and which can help to revitalize our energy and create a clear path forward. So, and that's just one under some website I'm looking at, but
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I got some those the beads. Do you know like the healing stones and stuff? I have a lot of those, and I wear my evil eye bracelets and my evil eye chain and stuff. To keep that
Yeah,
evil
and
away.
it's a beautiful colored stone. It's a deep
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
green.
look it up because I had see what I do. I got my t. I got it on TV, and then I got you on my laptop. Then I got my other. I have a other old. It's like an old phone. You can't even make any calls on it. You can still stream from it. So
Okay.
I'm using this old phone to stream. That's what I use to stream from. Then I have my regular phone that I use every day, and I'm using that to kind of type in on because when I type
Well,
on.
well, when you get a chance, type in Bloodstone and just go to images and look at all the different stones. They're beautiful.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And
have to see that.
I wanted to have one to wear around my neck because it does, help bring those qualities that you want to have on you when you go out into the world.
Right. Yeah, because let me tell you something. People, so I talk about it all the time. People, you don't have to go to no damn root worker. You don't have to go to no voodoo, whatever you want to call it.
Right, right,
Because see,
right.
people can just wish ill will on you. They can just think bad. Think so. That's spell work, or they can just speak bad on you. It's all types of spell work.
Yes, it is. Mm.
Yeah, but I had a bunch of I had people watching. Look like they left when, when we started talking. I better turn this recording back on.
Okay.
Degrees belong to the sign itself, that is Aries. Aries. The next 10 degrees belong to the next sign. Each 10-degree decan.
Okay.
This system is less commonly used in modern astrology. Ascendant. Let's look further into the ascendants for each sign of the zodiac. Any physical or characteristic descriptions are mostly based on observation by astrologers over time. Physical and other characteristics I describe throughout this book are based on generalities and should not be considered defining characteristics.
You see, as soon as I started back playing
Aries
the video,
rising.
more people started watching again.
Aries rising is a day sign, and these people are very active and straightforward.
Anybody else want to come up? They can
Usually
come
they are
up. I
quick of
dropped the
movement
link.
and oriented towards sports and competitive activities, though their competitiveness is often self-directed. They often dive straight into things and go after what they want without always having thought things through. Aries rising does everything at full speed and likes to be on the move. They are usually seen as pioneers and leaders, though they have difficulty finishing what they start. There will be no doubt when an Aries rising wants to be in a relationship with you, whether as a friend or more. Their directness is a positive, but can be overwhelming for some. Mars is the ruling planet of those born with this ascendant, and the placement of that ruling planet will give even more information about how this person operates in the world. Additionally, any planets close to the ascendant will temper the energy. For example, Saturn will really put the brakes on the fast energy of the rising sign. Rihanna, John Lennon, and Samantha Fox were all born with Aries rising. Taurus rising. Always think of Taurus rising as a strongly rooted tree with a big, thick trunk because they are steady and solid, immovable if others try to push them. In appearance, they often have a sturdy and solid look and usually like to be dressed in quality clothing, but nothing over the top. They have a very soothing presence, which makes them comfortable to be around unless you try to push them. They are, however, extremely loyal to the point where they see others almost as belonging to them. Taurus rising, a night sign, will usually move at a steady pace and doesn't like being pushed or rushed.
You got that right.
Everything about them is sensual in that they are attracted to nice smells, tastes, sounds, and touches. They may also have a pleasant voice. Their ruling planet is Venus, and the placement of Venus will tell more about a specific individual. For example, if Venus is in Gemini, this may make an individual more flexible than the Taurus ascendant alone implies. Venus in Gemini may add to their sociability and likelihood that they will use their pleasant voice in some way, such as for singing. Planets that conjunct the ascendant will also modify the energy. Martin Luther King, Boy George, and Miley Cyrus were all born with Taurus rising. Gemini rising. Gemini rising individuals are highly social, but also the most chaotic of rising signs. The sign of the twins can argue from both sides of any subject, making them great debaters. But this makes them seem duplicitous, which can be difficult for some more sensitive signs. Gemini rising are endlessly curious and witty and a joy to have around in a social environment. Their attention spans are short, however, so expect them to flit to the next thing very quickly. This restlessness gives them a nervous outer appearance at times, as they are constantly fidgeting. They are usually quite slender in appearance and will often have long artistic fingers, which you will usually see fiddling with something while they are talking. They are very good at multitasking, so although it may seem they are distracted and not listening, this isn't always the case. Mercury is the ruling planet for Gemini, and that planet's placement will say more about the
loves is still going strong over there. But I don't see how he do it. He be going 24/7 or whatever, but he be going hard in the paint for real. But yeah, I like the way she's breaking this down. I really do, because I'm learning more I'm learning more, things that I didn't know, because like I said, nobody knows it all, but you learn every day. And she's telling, I've already learned some things that I didn't know, so I think this was quite informative. It was worth the money.
Than the rising sign alone. A planet that conjuncts the ascendant will also temper this sign's energy. For example, Pluto conjuncting the Gemini ascendant will bring an intensity and depth not seen in all Gemini rising people. Bruce Springsteen, Ricky Martin, and Gene Wilder were all born with this rising sign.
I like Gene Wilder.
Cancer rising. Individuals born with Cancer rising, a night sign, are highly sensitive and loving souls, the gentlest and most nurturing of people. Like the crab, which is the symbol of Cancer, they are shy and protective, preferring to slide sideways and quietly into any space. They also have a tendency toward moodiness and can either retreat into their shell or get needy when their mood is down. They are often described as moon-faced and are often thought of as attractive. As Cancer rules the stomach, they may also have a tendency to gain weight and have digestive issues when feeling overwhelmed. Their empathic, sponge-like nature adds to this. Cancer rising feels everyone and everything around them, and they are best served learning ways to protect their energy when they meet others so they don't go into their moody hermit mode. The moon is the ruling planet of Cancer, and that represents mothering or nurturing energy, which explains why others are drawn to Cancer rising people for care when it's needed. The placement of the moon in the chart of the Cancer rising person, however, provides a deeper level of understanding of the person. For example, the moon in Aries will be more likely to want people to express their emotions directly and to also do this themselves. Angelina Jolie, Julia Roberts, Tyler...
Yeah, because see, your moon sign, that's what it represents. Your moon sign represents emotions. See, and see, your Venus sign represents love. See, that's why I see a lot of people only just look at that sun sign when there's so much more to you than that.
And John Travolta all have Cancer rising. Theo rising.
Gang, gang, that's me, boo-boo. Leo rising, lying in the house, baby. Courage on you.
Leo rising people are ruled by the sun, and it shows in their appearance, as they often have a lion's mane head of hair and a sunny round face. They are magnetic and light up any room when they enter, making an immediate impression. They are dramatic and demonstrative and love attention. They are sometimes loud, sometimes regal, but always commanding.
That's
They
me.
often dress for attention as well. Where this is less positive is if they don't get the attention and adulation they
Flashy.
seek. Their inner
we like to
child
be
can
flashy.
get bossy and have tantrums. Leo rising people are big kids at heart and really just want to be loved and to
That's
survey their kingdom or queendom with benevolence. They make better leaders than workers, though they
And you know what's so strange? Lions are my favorite animal. I love lions. I've always been drawn to them. That's why you like sometimes you see in my thumbnails I have lions in them because I just love them. I've always been like that. See what I'm talking about? How it all intertwined into things you don't know about yourself is already written in the stars.
towards rashness at times. The sun is the center of our solar system, and all the planets and the earth revolve around it. This also suggests the character of the Leo rising individual. They tend to think that the world revolves around them, and it often does. As the ruling planet, the placement of the sun and any planets close to the ascendant modify
I could take positive criticism.
the energy of the ascendant. A Virgo sun, for example, will be much less exuberant than some other placements. Muhammad Ali, Tina Turner, Meryl Streep, and George W. Bush were born with Leo rising. Persona. Persona is a term used to describe the ascendant or rising sign. This was a term developed by Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, who characterized it as a kind of mask designed on the one hand to make a definite impression upon others, and on the other to conceal the true nature of the individual.
Right.
Jung and most modern Western astrologers see the ascendant through this lens.
That's
We all
Exactly. That's what I tell you. See, a lot of because by me being a Capricorn, a lot of people, we the most misunderstood sign of all the zodiac. But let me tell you something. We Capricorns, we the best people in the world you ever want. We the best friend in the world. We can be your best lover. You know what I'm saying? We the best.
You
We
got
the
that right.
best at everything. But
Give
people
you your
misunderstand.
last, always trying to help people.
Oh,
Kind, loving, generous, love to hug. Yeah.
listen, we'll give you our last if we love you. You know what I'm saying? I help people out all the time. I don't talk about it, but but especially if we love you, we don't fall in love easy. But when we love, we love hard. You better believe that.
identify more with our ascendant when young and begin the individualization process as we mature. It's entirely possible to over-identify with the social adaptation of the ascendant and for it to mask our authentic self through over-adaptation to the outer image. As the persona, in Jungian terms, is the public image, we often find public figures over-identifying with their public image. To quote Jung, one could say, with a little exaggeration, that the persona is that which in reality one is not, but which oneself, as well as others, think one is. Astrology aims to encourage the person to individuate beyond the persona.
You know what what I don't like though? I know it because I noticed when I finished the live, I had a whole bunch of views. People, come on, y'all, if y'all gonna view, give your girl a like. Just come in and comment. You know what I'm saying? The link down there. If y'all want to come up here and holler at your girl, do that. Come on. Come on. We need a discussion on this thing. Don't be shy, because I be feeling, even when I don't see them, I still be feeling them, because I tell you, I can feel energy. I pick up on energy like that. Once you tap in, you be knowing these things. And see, every sign in your chart, you embodied it. Each sign has a different, how can I say, like a different power that you can control, but you have to learn how to tap into it. See, it's like what? Hold on. Let me let this play, because I got to find my birth chart, huh?
You have a magnetic energy.
Yeah, people have always been drawn to me, always. I had one girl, and I love men. But like, so, I'm telling you, I don't have, I ain't gonna say, I don't try it before. I'm honest like that. I don't try it, But that just ain't my forte. I want me some
Girl,
wood.
listen, that's how you learn, ain't it?
Exactly. You know what I'm
How
saying?
I
Look,
learned too.
I'm
That
real.
curiosity killed the cat for me.
Look, I'm real. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no future in front. You know what I'm saying? People throw rocks and hide their hand, and that's why they this and they that. And trust me, they doing worse than you don't did. But see, I got to find my birth chart so I can tell you exactly what each sign, because I can tell you exactly how you have to master this. It's certain skills in each sign that you have to learn how to master. But
Okay.
yeah. I mean, this native. This thing is deep, baby girl. I love astrology. I just love it. I really do. It's really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Virgo rising. Virgo rising people are the analysts and warriors of the zodiac. Their childhood may have had a parent obsessing over their health, weight, and appearance, which leaves them with a certain fastidiousness about these matters. Because they are standing back and analyzing situations and are quite shy, they can come across as reserved and standoffish, but they warm
I
up.
know what I was going to tell you. Because, I tell you, I don't been, I don't been in prison and all that. I don't been in trouble. That been years ago. You live and you learn. But I was locked up. That's what I was going to tell you. I was locked. This was years ago. I was locked up. And, the girl, she was gay and she had a little girlfriend in there. And the girl used to like to, they just like, people used to like to hang around me, And she was jealous of me. I said, you jealous of me? She said, because you just very charismatic. I said, what? She said, well, you have an attractive personality. You attract people. I said, well, that don't mean I want your damn woman. Shit.
Mm-hmm. She
To get
figured
to
if
know
she was looking at you
Once
like
you
that,
do
then
get
her
to know
girl
them,
was.
you will
Thank
find
you.
that their natural desire to help others makes them a loyal friend. The tendency to overanalyze and seek perfection makes them anxiety prone, especially if they aren't busy with projects and if they can't have everything in an order that suits them. They are usually neatly dressed and seem a little uptight. As a mutable sign, they are not fixed in their ideas, but they have to review the evidence before they shift. Modest is a great word for Virgo rising souls, and they usually have a graceful demeanor. Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, and the placement of Mercury and any planets close to the ascendant will modify the energy of the sign. For example, if Mercury is in the fixed sign Scorpio, their investigative quality will be much more piercing, as will their critical tendency.
I have Mercury in Aquarius.
Woody Allen, Hugh Hefner, Oscar Wilde, and Betty Ford were all born with Virgo rising. Libra rising. Libra rising individuals are very pleasant and charming to be around. They dislike conflict, so they are always seeking to mediate and play nice. They are generally attractive to look at and have a lovely, round, and sweet-looking appearance that adds to their charm. They are often slender. People are just attracted to Libra rising individuals who like to have relationships with others because they tend to and find it hard to be
I'm trying to drop this
alone.
picture so
They
I can
can
show you
also
the
have a
thing, but I
tendency
can't.
to have a passive-aggressive.
Let's see right here, so you have to go back to like the sextiles. I thought I could remove that picture so I could show you my birth chart, because mine is like 37 pages. But see, each one's like I have like conjunctions are like the strongest placements in your chart. It's like I have a Venus and Neptune conjunction in Sagittarius, right? When you have sextiles and all that, but the strongest placement is conjunctions. Like, okay, so right here I have conjunction. I have Venus conjunction Neptune. It says right here, it says I'm in love with love, which is true. I'm a romantic at heart. It says the power of love to you elevates me. And that's what I always talk about. Love. Love allows you to see the light in all. This is my birth chart now. Giving people the comfort to let loose around you. People truly appreciate your ability to see the best in them. That's why people always took advantage of me, soft-hearted, without judging their layers of past failings. And I don't. And that's why a lot of people like to be around me. They have told people that they like me because I have always told people, look, I don't been through things myself. I don't judge nobody for what they have done or did. You know what I'm saying? It's your life. Live your life. You live and you learn from different experiences. You see what I'm saying? It says, without judging their layers of past failings, relationships present themselves to me intuitively. I'm very intuitive. As it says, as you're an avid listener to the tunes of your heart. So it says the art. You know how I love music. Now this I tell you, that's what I tell people how I love music. The arts, especially music, have a deep connection with you. I can't make this shit up.
In relationships, as they may expect others to fulfill unrealistic expectations.
I always did love
This is
music.
a product of their well-known indecisiveness, as they are constantly trying to balance those Libra scales by looking at all sides. The ruling planet of Libra rising is Venus in her less manifest energy of loving beauty, relationships, and harmony. The placement of Venus and any planets close to the ascendant will modify the rising sign. If Mars is conjuncting the ascendant, for example, the tendency toward passive aggression will be heightened.
Let's see what conjunct my
Jennifer
ascendant.
Aniston, Leonardo DiCaprio, Sally Field, her famous "You really like me" Oscar acceptance speech is classic Libra rising, and Venus Williams are all Libra rising.
Oh, the moon. Let me see what conjunct my
Scorpio
ascendant.
rising. Magnetic, intimidating, and intense are all words that describe those with Scorpio rising, a night sign. They are very private and even secretive about their inner life, which creates a mystique around them. They often have a slightly brooding appearance with penetrating eyes. Scorpio rising approaches everything with intensity, often to the point of obsession. They dig deeply into everything and have penetrative investigative traits, including seeming to see into other souls. Because of their very private nature, they often have problems expressing the deep swirl of emotions that their intense nature brings, sometimes even to themselves. They do, however, emanate a deep power and are usually passionate and creative about everything they do. Pluto is the ruling planet of Scorpio rising people, and the placement of Pluto will modify the rising sign. For example, someone with Pluto in the third house will be more likely to be chatty and less focused. Planets that can
I have in my rising, I had the moon sextile my ascendant. But I'm trying to see what if I have a conjunction there. I might not. I might just have that sextile in there.
the ascendant also modify the impact of the rising sign. Aretha Franklin, David Lynch, Robin Williams, and Prince were all born with Scorpio rising.
No wonder Prince was so sexual
Descendant.
like that. He's a straight freak.
The polarity point to the ascendant or rising sign is the descendant, or seventh house cusp, which is the sign that was on the western horizon from the perspective of the date, time, and place of birth. The descendant is an important consideration when exploring what kind of person you are attracted to and whom you attract in all significant relationships. This can also indicate blind spots within you that you aspire to personally develop through partnerships. It could be said that your ascendant is day energy, or what you put out into the world,
Right.
and your descendant is night energy, or what you receive from others through partnership. The blind spots the descendant represents are called the disowned self. In other words, we see something in others that irritates us until we recognize that it's actually a part of us that needs
right.
acknowledgement.
Right.
For example, you may find it irritating that your partner is detached emotionally if you have Aquarius on the descendant. But once you become aware of it, you are able to realize that it's actually something you need to work on within yourself. It can be a big awakening. In other words, what felt like aloofness can become a sense of freedom. This is also known as mirror work, where we transmute any irritating qualities into positive traits to be developed. This is an important factor to consider when looking at compatibility. Sagittarius rising. Sagittarius rising people are fun and freedom loving. They have an air of enthusiasm and optimism about life that few other rising signs have. They are adventurers and are always seeking experiences that will enhance their lives, sometimes traveling extensively and living in places other than where they were born. They also travel in their minds and often have a big library of books or mini books next to their bed. Those born under this rising sign are often so full of excitement and opinions gained from their explorations that they tend to lack tact and may suffer from foot and mouth syndrome. Their likability and sense of humor generally stop them from getting into too much trouble, however. They are also seen as a little naive. In appearance, they are often quite tall and rangy and are on the move much of the time, as if they're in a hurry to get to the next experience, which they probably are. Sagittarius rising's ruling planet is Jupiter, and the placement of that, or planets near the ascendant, will modify the sign. Saturn on the ascendant, for example, will make this person less outgoing and more inclined to appear serious. Jamie Lee Curtis, Arsenio Hall, Princess Diana, and Hans Christian Andersen were all born with Sagittarius rising. Capricorn rising.
Oh,
Capricorn rising people are the most ambitious of the zodiac and are very serious and
okay. So I'm an
work-oriented.
Aquarius.
They are
I'm an
definitely
Aquarius
not the
descendant,
party
because
animals
that's
of
the
the
opposite of
zodiac.
Leo.
They do often have a dry sense of humor with impeccable timing, however. Their appearance is usually lean and quite angular, with bright eyes, and they are often dressed for success, preferring an earthy palette of clothing colors. Because of their serious demeanor, Capricorn rising people can come across as quite cold emotionally, though they really aren't. They just don't show emotion easily. Capricorn rising individuals may have had a difficult childhood or been given a lot of responsibility early in life.
True.
They usually loosen up with age. These individuals tend to like security and to be the provider for their family and
Do
partners.
you know what your rising sign and stuff is? You know what your moon and rising sign are?
I don't, but I
You-
agree with that about the Capricorn.
Yeah,
I
but
don't.
she talking about the Capricorn rising. That's the rising sign. You on your phone or you on another device?
I
Oh,
got
you said
another
you on
device.
two devices. You need to go to. Let me see, can I find that so I can drop that? You need to go to Astro Cafe and put in your information, and it will give you your sun and your risings. It'll give you everything. It'll give you that
Astro
birth chart wheel.
Cafe.
Astro Cafe. Let me see, can I find the link and drop it in there?
But there's also an undercurrent of fear of not being or doing enough. Saturn is the ruling planet for Capricorn, and both Saturn's placement and any other planets near the ascendant
You
will
found it?
modify the rising sign energy. For
Yes.
example,
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
if Saturn is in Pisces, they will be more intuitive and connected to their creative side. Queen Elizabeth II, Jane Fonda, Taylor Swift, and Joseph Stalin were all born with Capricorn rising. Aquarius rising. Those born with Aquarius rising, a day sign, are quirky, curious, and more than a little rebellious. They are friendly and love a good intellectual meeting of the minds, especially if it involves the subject of how to save the world, or at least a part of the world. They also love a good debate and play devil's advocate well. They are humanitarians, often idealistic and future-oriented, and can paint their vision of what a more egalitarian world would look like from a progressive viewpoint, as they often truly want a real humanhood for people of all persuasions. They seem quite emotionally detached while also caring about the world as activists. Aquarius rising usually has a youthful appearance, with a medium stature, and they tend to be drawn to wearing clothes seen as quirky or individualistic in some way. Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius, and the placement of that planet will modify the rising sign, as will any planets close to the ascendant. For example, if the moon is close to the ascendant, they may be a little warmer and more emotionally engaged. Barack Obama, David Bowie, Nicki Minaj, and Carl Jung were all born with Aquarius rising.
Boys, look here. She got all of the famous people. She know all their birth charts.
Yeah.
Pisces rising. Pisces rising people are the dreamers of the zodiac, as they seem to float in the realms of fantasy, and they are very soft-hearted and compassionate. As a mutable water sign, they are very reflective of those around them and are empathic sponges, often having a shape-shifting quality that mirrors those around them. They are imaginative and creative and one of the least grounded rising signs, so they operate best with relationships that steady them. They are susceptible to manipulative people. Because of their extreme sensitivity, they are often vulnerable to drugs of all kinds, including prescribed drugs. They may also be prone to depression because the world doesn't live up to their dreams and ideals. They are often beautiful and have a shimmery, ethereal appearance that is charming to most people. Kind people want to protect them. Pisces rising's ruling planet is Neptune, and the placement of Neptune will modify how the rising sign works. For example, Neptune in Taurus will mean the person is more grounded and connected to earthly things. Planets near the ascendant will also modify how the rising sign works. Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Robert Redford, setting up Sundance, a leading independent film festival, is a classic example. And Bruno Mars all have Pisces rising.
It makes sense.
Seconds. Decan is a subdivision of 10 degrees of an astrological sign. Decans are
You see-
complex. And
See, it's I'm glad, and it's the way, and it's certain the celebrities that she's picking out. You can see how they kind of embody those signs too. See what I'm talking about?
been developed from Egyptian times when they were first based on 36 fixed stars, dividing 360 degrees into 36 sections. These decans were merged with the 12 signs of the zodiac in the 1st century CE, when the Egyptian and Mesopotamian traditions converged. From that point, two systems emerged, and we are going to explore the triplicity system to give more information about each person. Each person will have their sun in a decan, which deepens the understanding of that placement. The dates in each decan refer to your birth date. Decans of Aries. First decan, ruled by Mars, is the Aries decan. People born under this decan are the true pioneers of the zodiac and are very action-oriented, driven, and courageous. They approach life with the zeal of a child and have a lovely innocence in their enthusiasm. You are in this decan if your sun is from 0 degrees to 9 degrees Aries, and approximate dates for this decan are March 21st through March 31st. The second decan of Aries is ruled by the sun and is the Leo decan. The sun and Leo bring a regal quality
I
to
have
these
0
people
degrees of
who
Leo.
like to shine in the world and receive a lot of attention. The fixed quality of Leo brings a certain immovable quality to the leadership energy of this decan, meaning that they stick to their aims no matter what others want.
That's
This
right.
can be the energy of the pompous leader. You are in this decan if your sun is from 10 degrees to 19 degrees Aries, and approximate dates for this decan are April 1st through April 11th.
I just turned out the light. I
The
gotta turn
third
that back
decan of
on now.
Aries is ruled by Jupiter and is the Sagittarius decan. Jupiter brings an expansiveness and seeking quality to the sign of Aries. Aries energy is usually focused, but this decan likes to explore and search for their personal truth. They are very much individuals who go their own way. You are in this decan if your sun is from 20 degrees to 29 degrees Aries, and approximate
Okay.
dates for this decan are April 12th through April 21st.
My son's 23, 21 degrees in Capricorn.
Decans of Taurus. First decan, ruled by Venus, is the Taurus decan. This person is stable and very connected to the earth and the material world. This decan has a very instinctive body knowledge, which means that they love to
29
nourish their
degrees
body
on
with good
moon,
food,
29
things that are
degrees Taurus.
tactile, and things that generally make them feel good. Overindulgence and inflexibility can be the
See what
down.
I'm talking about? It's all kind of things in that natal chart that determine stuff. Not just that, you got to look at the degrees, and you got to look at the degrees. You got to look at the conjunctions and the sextiles. It's all kind of stuff.
Side of this energy, but they do have a very peaceful and loving presence and are usually very sensual and sexual. You are in this decan if your sun is from 0 degrees to 9 degrees Taurus, and approximate dates for this decan are April 22nd to May 1st. The second decan is ruled by Mercury and is the Virgo decan. The influence of Mercury and Virgo brings more flexibility to the usually stubborn Taurus energy. These people are pragmatic and realistic, but in a very quiet and unassuming way. The sensitivity of Virgo and Mercury can make them come across as dull to others of a more visionary and idealistic nature, as they are the people who will always tell others they aren't living in reality. You are in this decan if your sun is from 10 degrees to 19 degrees Taurus, and approximate dates for this decan are May 2nd to May 11th. The third decan of Taurus is ruled by Saturn and is the Capricorn decan. These people are a little more blocked off from the indulgent energy of Taurus, as they can be too busy building and climbing to enjoy the fruits of their labor, though they do still love to own the good things in
That's
life.
us, Capricorn.
They have a more austere presence and may seem boring to some. They are, however, master builders of solid and lasting structures in their life, whether it be a career, a home
get that
base,
bad.
or a family. Once you get to know the person behind the urge to build, they can be quite funny and sensual under the surface. You are in this decan if your sun is from 20 degrees to 29 degrees Taurus, and approximate dates for this decan are May 12th to May 21st. Decans of Gemini. First decan of Gemini is ruled by Mercury and is the Gemini decan.
What about that?
Those
I ain't know nothing about no decking and all that stuff. This is something new to me. I just knew really basic astrology. This shit get really deep.
Born with the sun in this decan are extremely curious, and you will always find them taking in information from a variety of sources. They are also likely to be scattered and easily
Get me some
distracted as they
Starburst.
flit from one thing to another. This is also known as shiny object or squirrel syndrome. Their mind is very quick, and they make sense of a lot of information in a detached way. But because of their tendency to be easily distracted, they rarely go deeply into any one subject. You are in this decan if your sun is from 0 degrees to 9 degrees Gemini, and approximate dates for this decan are May 22nd to June 1st. The second decan of Gemini is ruled by Venus and is the Libra decan. These are social people who want to be around and converse with others as much as possible. They are, like all Geminis, curious and want to know all about you and what makes you tick.
Yeah, Gemini
Their
got
natural
split personality,
curiosity
though.
also draws them to study art or the
Yeah,
wonders
yeah,
of nature.
And
For
my
instance.
son was born on the
Tendency to see
21st, which
themselves through
he's
the eyes
a Taurus and a Gemini, depending on leap year.
On the cusp. Some people born on the cusp.
Yeah.
I thought you had done got so quiet on me. You just listening, ain't you?
Yeah, I muted, so I don't want my background noise, my TV, not my kids walking by. None of that.
I think this is a pretty good book here.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, cause she going deep into it because there's some things that she talking about that I didn't even know about.
Yeah, and I pulled my chart up too, so I'm kind of looking through that too.
Okay, all right, do your thing.
others, however, and that can lead to difficulty making any decisions without others' input. They make really good mediators as they see the good in people and can present that to the other side in a negotiation. You are in this decan if your sun is from 10 degrees to 19 degrees Gemini, and approximate dates for this decan are June 2nd to June 11th. The third decan of Gemini is ruled by Uranus and is the Aquarius decan. These are the big picture thinkers who are able to come up with innovative concepts. They are the most emotionally detached and can, for that reason, seem distant from others. However, that's because they are taking the bird's eye view and seeing the connections needed to help humanity as a whole. Their breadth of knowledge is enormous, and their vision is like a giant puzzle put together with seemingly disparate pieces. They are usually very friendly, but will want to talk about some big ideas rather than engage in small talk. You are in this decan if your sun is from 20 degrees to 29 degrees Gemini, and approximate dates for this decan are June 12th to June 21st. Decans of Cancer. First decan of Cancer is ruled by the moon and is the Cancer decan. This makes for an extremely emotionally sensitive and compassionate person who nurtures and cares for those they love with unending capacity for an emotional connection. This can, however, lead to identifying with this role to such a degree that they never communicate their own emotional needs. This can lead to insecurity and emotionally manipulative behavior. They are also likely to find it difficult to let go of past hurt feelings. They love with intensity, which can be comforting for some and overwhelming for others. You are in this decan if your sun is from 0 degrees to 9 degrees Cancer, and approximate dates for this decan are June 22nd to July 1st. The second decan of Cancer is ruled by Pluto and is the Scorpio decan. These people's emotions are as deep as the deepest ocean, and like the ocean at those depths, those emotions can be hard to access and express. Because of this, these people can seem almost emotionless, and their natural reserve adds to this. Of course, this is only the surface impression because the opposite is true. They feel so very deeply that they are willing to do anything for those they love, to the point of self-sacrifice. The depth of Scorpio can also make them possessive of those they love, but they make amazing listeners and can hold space for others like no one else. You are in this decan if your sun is from 10 degrees to 19 degrees Cancer, and approximate dates for this decan are July 2nd to July 11th. The third decan of Cancer is ruled by Neptune and is the Pisces decan. These are the most sensitive and gentle people you will ever meet. They have a very ethereal presence as their moods shift in response to all that is around them. It's often hard to know what they are really feeling, and they themselves are not always aware. They, like those of the first decan, are tireless when caring for those they love. But there's the addition of a tendency to feel like a victim when they feel others take advantage of them. These people must learn to create better personal boundaries. You are in this decan if your sun is from 20 degrees to 29 degrees Cancer, and approximate dates for this decan are July 12th to July 21st. Decans of Leo. The first decan of Leo is ruled by the sun and is the Leo decan. This is the ruler of all, or at least that is how this person sees themselves. They see themselves as special and entitled to be leaders or adored in all that they do in the nicest possible way. They feel as if they were born to be first, and in many respects, they are right, as they radiate warmth and a regal presence. Leo is ruled by the heart, and many belonging to this decan are benevolent leaders, but they often lack humility. When others don't quite see them as they see themselves or treat them with the attention they feel they deserve, they can feel very hurt. You are in this decan if your sun is from 0 degrees to 9 degrees Leo, and approximate dates for this decan are July 22nd to August 1st. The second decan of Leo is ruled by Jupiter and is the Sagittarius decan. These are the gamblers and risk takers of the sign, as the influence of Jupiter brings an expansive vibe and a sense of being so lucky that all they touch will turn to gold. It often does. They also tend to shower that sense of well-being onto those around them because they are generous to a fault. This tendency toward risk-taking can also lead them to overextend at times, but they usually fall on their feet. You are in this decan if your sun is from 10 degrees to 19 degrees Leo, and approximate dates for this decan are August 2nd to August 11th. The third decan of Leo is ruled by Mars and is the Aries decan. This is the warrior lion who will go out into the world with a sense of righteousness and possibility, who truly believes they can achieve anything they desire. Their will is so strong and desire so great that they often do achieve what they set their heart on. The fixed quality of Leo makes them stick to achieving those desires, but can also make them stubborn and resistant to any input from others, and they will rarely admit to making mistakes. They are very open and honest, however, no matter what others say or think. You are in this decan if your sun is from 20 degrees to 29 degrees Leo, and approximate dates for this decan are August 12th through August 21st. Decans of Virgo. First decan of Virgo is ruled by Mercury and is the Virgo decan. Those born under this decan have a very intellectual and extremely rational mind. They are productive to a fault and always seek to make their day function more productively so they can be more useful with their time. They enjoy intellectual relationships in which they can discuss plans and ideas with those around them. They are also great warriors, and their inner self-critic is probably the strongest of all people in the zodiac, as they are constantly analyzing everything. The mutable energy of the decan means they are often course-correcting, which can be both a blessing and a curse. You are in this decan if your sun is from 0 degrees to 9 degrees Virgo, and approximate dates for this decan are August 22nd to September 1st. The second decan of Virgo is ruled by Saturn and is the Capricorn decan. The initiating energy of Saturn in Capricorn relieves some of the potential analysis paralysis of Virgo and encourages them to take action to create structures that give them material security. They tend to be overachievers, seeking to keep building and making money, and are investors more than spenders because that gives them the sense of achievement they need. They can also throw in the towel on some projects if they feel they are failing. They are very responsible and great managers, but their drive to achieve can mean they miss out on the lighter and more fun side of life. You are in this decan if your sun is from 10 degrees to 19 degrees Virgo, and approximate dates for this decan are September 2nd to September 11th. The third decan of Virgo is ruled by Venus and is the Taurus decan. The soothing presence of Venus and the steadying influence of Taurus make this decan of Virgo less highly strung than others. Virgo likes to make things with their hands, and you might find this decan being creative in any field that requires them to mold or use other earthy materials, such as sculpture or finger painting. These are slower moving people and generally quite reserved and self-contained. They also like to dress well and look good, but in a very neat manner. They are rarely flamboyant. You are in this decan if your sun is from 20 degrees to 29 degrees Virgo, and approximate dates for this decan are September 12th to September 21st. Decans of Libra.
Prophet Levi, I dropped that link for you, baby boy. Come on up. You can just sit back and chill, get your smoke on. I know you got your bone.
The first decan of Libra is ruled by Venus and is the Libra decan. These people are lovers of beauty, pleasure, and others. They love harmony, peace, and for life to be smooth and lovely. They are happiest when in relationships, and yet the shadow of Libra is that they can become argumentative at times and will sometimes argue just for the sake of it. They also have a keen sense of what works in business, and a balanced first decan will utilize that and create a healthy work-life balance. When they are as balanced as they can be, they tend to live in a place that is peaceful and beautiful, both outwardly and inwardly. You are in this decan if your sun is from 0 degrees to 9 degrees Libra.
Oh, don't get shot now, Prophet Levi. Absolute warrior. Bring your ass on up here.
And approximate dates for this decan are September 22nd to October 1st. The second decan of Libra is ruled by Uranus and is the Aquarius decan. These people are more individualistic than the other decans of Libra, and they are more drawn to the intellect of others in their lives rather than how things look visually. They are also drawn to needing more personal space to find the balance that Libra needs. You are in this decan if your sun is from 10 degrees to 19 degrees Libra, and approximate dates for this decan are October 2nd to October 11th. The third decan of Libra is ruled by Mercury and is the Gemini decan. These are charming people who can woo others with their words, but they are also more changeable and restless, which can upset the needed balance and harmony integral to Libra.
Hey, bomb mom, they want to be shot, don't they?
Ain't no need to be shy now, prop fit. Come on.
Okay. He be talking all that noise. He be on everybody else panel. Look at him. So okay, boom, fire.
He don't really talk much. He just blows smoke. But we down for the smoke.
That's it, because we ain't doing nothing but listening. I just want you all up here on the panel, brother. We need that energy. I like your
Turn
energy.
your camera on and show us what you got, baby.
You already know he got that bone.
Bone thugs.
Highly
Yes, sir.
sociable and need to converse with
harmony.
on a regular
You better
basis.
believe it.
You are in this
True
decan if your
definition.
sun is from 20 degrees to 29 degrees Libra, and approximate dates for this decan are October 12th to October 21st. Decans of Scorpio. The first decan of Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and is the Scorpio decan. These people are deep and extremely intense. They may almost
He talking
unconsciously
about he
play
can't talk.
power
You ain't
games
gotta
with
talk.
others as
Just
they try
sit
to fulfill
there
their deep
and blow your
longings
smoke
and
like you do on
desires.
everybody
They
else.
are often possessive
on
and
everybody
can
else
be
panel.
obsessive as they desire to merge with those with whom they are in a relationship. They are not the easiest people to be around, but they love very deeply if you can stand the heat. You are in this decan if your sun is from 0 degrees to 9 degrees Scorpio, and approximate dates for this decan are October 22nd to November 1st. The second decan of Scorpio is ruled by Neptune and is the Pisces decan. Those born under this decan are very intuitive and seductive. They magnetize others with a glamour that sometimes doesn't reveal what's really going on. Their imaginations are quite magical and their ideals are high, but at times totally unrealistic. You are in this decan if your sun is from 10 degrees to 19 degrees Scorpio, and approximate dates for this decan are November 2nd to
You
November
talking about I'm
11th.
on what I weigh up.
The third
I can't
decan of
tell.
Scorpio
You ain't
is
got here
ruled by
yet.
the moon and is the Cancer decan. The nurturing and loving qualities of the moon and Cancer soften the intensity of
I guess you
Scorpio
got to get his smoke
considerably,
ready.
though their receptive nature still wants to connect with others at a deep emotional
Yeah,
level.
try and get
These
everything
people have
together.
great loyalty, but with a higher level of trust. You are in this decan if your sun is from 20 degrees to 29 degrees Scorpio, and approximate dates for this decan are November 12th to November 21st. Decans of Sagittarius. First decan of Sagittarius is the Sagittarius decan, ruled by Jupiter. These people are adventurous and optimistic, though they may lack tact at times. They often study higher philosophies and principles, including those of various religions, and tend to be lifelong learners.
See, didn't I tell you that I told you earlier that Scorpio dealt with religion as well as Pisces? And I have Scorpio North Node. She more than likely gonna talk about the nodes too. If she's talking about all this, she's gonna talk about the significance of your North and your South node too, more than likely.
Okay.
Who can tend to be on the
Let me check out the
dogmatic side
chapters here.
and preach what they know. You are in this decan if your sun is
We
from
just
0
in chapter
degrees to
4.
9 degrees Sagittarius, and approximate dates for this decan are November 22nd to December 1st. The second decan of Sagittarius is ruled by Mars and is the Aries decan. These people may be accident prone, as Sagittarius in general tends to gallop everywhere. Combined with the head-first energy of Mars, they may not always look where they are going. They are constantly challenging themselves and are usually completely open and honest. These people need action and movement. You are in this decan if your sun is from 10 degrees to 19 degrees Sagittarius, and approximate dates for this decan are December 2nd to December 11th. The third decan of Sagittarius is the Leo decan, which is ruled by the sun. This is another risk-taking placement, and the combination can lead them to gamble in life as they seek adventure and experience. They are people of integrity, but also can let their pride get in the way as they aim high, and that can lead to falls. You are in this decan if your sun is from 20 degrees to 29 degrees Sagittarius, and approximate dates for this decan are December 12th to December 21st. Decans of Capricorn.
Yeah.
The first decan of Capricorn is ruled by Saturn and is the Capricorn decan. These people have great determination and can move mountains. They are very serious and responsible. Because they have double the responsible energy of Capricorn, they also can have double the fear of not being enough and must be wary of working too hard because of their fear of failure. You are in this decan if your sun is from 0 degrees to 9 degrees Capricorn, and approximate dates for this decan are December 22nd to January 1st. The second decan of Capricorn is ruled by Venus and is the Taurus decan. The middle decans are often the most balanced, and the middle Capricorn decan is no different. The energy of Venus and Taurus means that these people are still responsible and determined, but will also make sure they relax and enjoy the comforts their achievements bring. They are happier with a slower approach to achievement. You are in this decan if your sun is from 10 degrees to 19 degrees Capricorn, and approximate dates for this decan are January 2nd to January 11th. The third decan of Capricorn is ruled by Mercury and is the Virgo decan. These people are more impatient than the first two decans of this sign and are always seeking to make everything they do more functional so that they can get to the next thing faster. They have more of a nervy quality, as they can feel held back by the relentless determination of Capricorn. You are in this decan if your sun is from 20 degrees to 29 degrees Capricorn, and approximate dates for this decan are January 12th to January 21st.
I'm born January 12th.
Decans of Aquarius. First decan of Aquarius is the Aquarius decan, ruled by Uranus, and these people are real individualists and nonconformists. They are progressive-minded, sociable humanitarians, though they often have only a small circle of friends. They are always thinking up new plans and ideas, and their minds are rarely still. Their overthinking can lead to anxiety if they don't get some solitary downtime. You are in this decan if your sun is from 0 degrees to 9 degrees Aquarius, and approximate dates for this decan are January 22nd through February 1st.
He don't bring that bad smoke.
Aquarius is ruled by Mercury and is the Gemini decan. These people have a similar nature to the first decan, but with a lighter feel. They are still individuals, but are more social and curious about the world rather than only abstract ideas.
Look, he asked me yesterday, did I know how to blow the certain O's? I told him that's what I never
the Lord of the Rings for real.
Yeah, I never did learn. I tried to do it. I just never learned how to blow them O's.
Literature lovers.
People on them big
They
O's.
are also usually great communicators with a desire to teach all that they study to others. You are in this decan if your sun is from 10 degrees to 19 degrees Aquarius, and approximate dates for this decan are February 2nd through February 11th. The third decan of Aquarius is the Libra decan, ruled by Venus. These people are usually great politicians by nature because they are very good with people and really care about bettering the lives of others. They can usually see the best in people and want to help bring that out. They are often very graceful and willowy. You are in this decan if your sun is from 20 degrees to 29 degrees Aquarius, and approximate dates for this decan are February 12th through February 21st.
All Aquariuses don't fit in that,
Decans of Pisces.
Some of them is
First decan of Pisces is ruled by Neptune and is the Pisces decan. These people are almost pure psychic sponges, sensitive to all that is around them. They are highly intuitive and connected to the collective unconscious. They are usually attracted to mystical experiences
Yep.
since they already inhabit those realms. They are easily taken advantage of as they have few boundaries.
See, I have Pisces in the ninth house. And the ninth house rules religion. It's also called the house of the Father.
They often seem to be a walking nebulous cloud of dreams and
And my
creativity.
father was a Pisces.
You are in this decan if your sun is from 0 degrees to 9 degrees Pisces, and approximate dates for this decan are February 22nd through March 1st. The second decan of Pisces is the Cancer decan, ruled by the moon. These people are creative romantics, but also crave security and safety the most of all the decans. They are loyal to a fault to those they love and can be very needy if they don't feel secure. Their artistic and homemaking abilities will blossom when they are secure. Those born under this decan need the security of the home and close family bonds, but they also need a lot of alone time within that structure. You are in this decan if your sun is from 10 degrees to 19 degrees Pisces, and approximate dates for this decan are March 2nd through March 11th. The third decan of Pisces is ruled by Pluto and is the Scorpio decan. Those born under this decan are often drawn to the realms of the hidden and the taboo, such as the realms of magic, mediumship, and death. They are often finely connected to the other side and may even see spirits. At the very least, they are deeply intuitive and can sense what's happening
But I
within
do.
those
I be
around
seeing
them.
all kind of stuff.
You are in this decan
I
if your
just think I
sun
be
is
going
from
crazy.
20 degrees to 29 degrees Pisces, and approximate dates for this decan are March 12th through March 21st. Chapter 5. Planets and other essential bodies. Astrological chart is created using many elements. This chapter looks at the planets and other essential bodies, which can be described as the what in the chart, with the signs being how the planets work in you, and the houses being the where or areas of life. The what in your chart represents such things as your emotions, your drive, your love nature, your mind, or to word it differently, integral parts of the self. The different signs show how those parts of the self are represented in a person, and whether that is, for example,
Because see, I just noticed she don't. Because I looked at the chapters, and I didn't see where she talked about. I didn't see where she talked about the nose unless I was overlooking it. But and she don't talk about the. Oh yeah, she do talk about the houses. Because I was going to download another damn book, but I better wait and see what all on here if I waste that. Well, you have to buy so many credits at a time. And you had to take one credit to buy each book. But hey, they charge you $35 for 3 damn credits. Let's see what's going on by
more enthusiastic manner or a more reserved manner. The house or the where indicates the areas of life in which the planet and sign operate most prevalently in individuals.
And we still got 3 hours and 7 minutes left on this book. I don't know. I told her I ain't gonna do it all night. We've already been going 2 hours. We'll do. Let me see how many more chapters we want. We'll finish what we got here. We on chapter 5 now, I think.
Or just give yourself a time limit, and then when you see it getting close to that time, finish up that chapter.
Yeah, we'll finish up chapter. We'll go ahead since we're in chapter 5. We'll go ahead and do chapter 5, and then we'll start chapter 6 tomorrow.
Okay.
That sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Astrology used the 2 luminaries, sun and moon, and the 5 visible planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Modern astrology, however, also uses more recently discovered cosmic bodies. Some of these are included here, and others will be discussed later in the book. In part 2, you will learn how to structure and interpret a birth chart. These sections will be used as a reference as you integrate all of the parts of the chart to create a holistic picture of the self. Sun. Sun is the central organizing principle of both the solar system and the self. It's the core identity, and the sun in your chart energizes you. The sun is day energy, as the sun clearly shines in the day and is an inhalation of breath that energizes our bodies. Like the sun in the solar system, everything else revolves around this shining core. The sun rules the sign of Leo and the heart, and this indicates that the sun is the heart of you. The sun is seen as a masculine or yang energy in modern Western culture, but in many other traditions, the sun has been seen as feminine because of its life-giving qualities. The sun functions as your CEO or conductor, and when you're tuned into the energy of your personal sun sign, then you are operating at your most aligned. The sun also represents self-expression, sense of purpose, creativity, and the ego in the healthiest of senses. The highest expression of sun energy is the benevolent leader who lights up the lives of others and is energized by how they shine light on others. In its lesser expression, the sun can be boastful and egotistical. Like the actual sun in the solar system, however, the energy of the sun within us can be dulled or blocked by other placements, and the sun sign that is blocked makes it more difficult to express that energy. The moon. Moon represents your emotional needs and your relationship to feelings. It is night energy and the energy of an exhalation as we relax at the end of the day. The sign of Cancer and the fourth house are both ruled by the moon. The moon also represents your relationship to family, home, and your ancestors. The moon is receptive and reflective, giving out no light of its own. Because of that, Western cultures have designated the moon as yin, or feminine energy, because of the portrayal of the feminine as passive. There are other traditions, however, that believe the sun is the ovum and the moon the sperm. The moon is visibly night energy, where we exhale, rest, and recover our energy. The moon is our basis of security and often represents the mother or the person who mothered you in your early life. The moon rules body rhythms, including menstrual cycles and the cycles of sleep, and it is a commonly held belief that we sleep less and have more energy when the moon is full, and we are more inwardly focused and need alone time in the dark of the moon. As our moon placement says a lot about our response to the outer world, the actual phases of the moon affect us also. There's an ebb and flow to all lunar energy. Mercury. Mercury is both day and night energy and an inhale and exhale. Since Mercury rules the signs of Gemini, the twins, and Virgo, service and usefulness. Mercury is the most non-binary of the planetary bodies, and the fact that the planet rules both the yang, day, air sign of Gemini, and the yin, earth, night sign of Virgo indicates this. Mercury is the first of the personal planets after the luminaries, the sun and moon. Mercury represents the mind, communication, the messenger, detail, technical ability, perception, and learning. Mercury is also coordination, how our mind tells our neural pathways to coordinate. Depending on the placement of Mercury and how we are embodying our Mercury, it can be curious, witty, sociable, and versatile, or nervy, over-concerned with detail, and even highly strung. Mercury is also associated with the trickster archetype. The fact that the planet appears to go retrograde 3 to 4 times each year is indicative of its trickster nature, because Mercury retrograde is renowned for technical snafus and miscommunications.
What's going on,
The
love?
trickster archetype is one that turns conventional.
I got that link down there if you want to come on up. We just sitting around listening to this book. We're going to finish out this chapter and call it a night for the night.
Rules and behavior on their heads. Mercury is associated with Hermes, the messenger of the gods. It is the closest planet to the sun, our core, and transmits information from the core to Earth.
Good.
Mercury travels closely with the sun from our perspective and is always in the same sign as the sun or one of the 2 adjacent signs. Venus. Venus is generally known as the planet of...
We would love to have your insight on what you think about the astrology. Just got in, had a long day today. Hope you didn't work too hard. How that baby doing?
Love, and, of course, modern astrology has defined that as feminine, despite the fact that Venus rules both Libra, a day air sign, and Taurus, a night earth sign. Like Mercury, Venus is both day and night, and an exhale and inhale. Modern astrology's definitions reflect gender bias and why some have never identified with such concepts as men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Venus is the second of the personal planets, the second
welcome.
planet from the sun and the closest to the Earth. Venus, like Mercury, travels
Pretty
closely
baby
with
you
the
got.
sun from our perspective and is always either in the same sign as or in one of the adjacent signs to the sun. Venus rules the senses and therefore symbolizes the relationship to all that can be seen, touched, heard, smelled, and tasted, which includes people, nature, money, food, and
Venus rules your love. Like anytime you like when you listening to your like readings on your signs, it takes you your big three or your moon, your sun, your moon, and your rising. But you also have to look at your north node too, your north node and your south node, and your V. If you're looking for love, you always look at your Venus sign to see whatever they and do. Because I'm Sagittarius, Venus in Neptune conjunction. That shit sometimes that and that Leo. Well, I tell you, all of them really resonate, but that Sagittarius and Leo, they always most of the time resonate more than my sun sign. And
things. Venus also symbolizes values, the arts, beauty, sensuality, harmony, and mediation, as well as indecisiveness, inertia, and overindulgence. Venus has a cycle that reflects a more complex and binary energy. When it rises above the sun, Venus is the morning star, known as Phosphorus or Lucifer,
how about
the light
that?
bearer, an outgoing
How
yang,
about that?
day, Venus. When it moves to set after the sun, Venus is the evening star, or Hesperus, which is a much more receptive yin, night placement. It's good practice to look at this, as well as sign and house placement and aspects to other planets, to
Right.
give you a full picture of an individual's Venus. Inclusivity. It's important to reiterate that the horoscope, or astrological chart, does not show gender, color, or even whether it belongs to a human being. Events, animals, or anything else can have a horoscope.
Yeah.
Astrology is archetypal and mythic, but not essentially stereotypical. The stereotypes that may have arisen have more to do with the practitioner and the patriarchal conditioning of society. Astrology itself does not need to change to be approached in an inclusive and egalitarian way. Astrology itself is neutral.
The bomb mom, now you're going to have me doing a whole series. Now you're going to have me on this series for about 2 weeks now. You know that, right?
I'll just send you my phone number. We can do if you don't want to do the
No,
whole
no,
thing.
no, no. I don't mind doing it. I don't, because I told you I love astrology because I just, well, she's
Oh
going to
well,
go,
I
she's going to
wanted
go
to
over it.
learn more about it too. So
Yeah. That's why, that's first started out doing this. So, I mean, this is my thing. And after we got onto the topic way in love's a live today.
Oh yeah.
That's when I decided to go ahead and do it tonight. Remember? So
Yeah.
I just downloaded another audio book, and that one's just gonna be after we finish this series here from her with her, we're gonna dive into a deeper dive into the houses in the natal chart. I just downloaded the book on that.
Yeah, because that's what I'm trying to understand. Because we've been told, okay, you're Aries, but then, like you said, we have all the signs in us, and at different times and different moons and different stars correlating you could have different traits.
Right. Right. That's what I'm
So
saying. You have to you can download. You said you had went on the site that I gave you, but you can download it. But you can also, like I said, you pay extra, and they'll send you like this whole breakdown like I have. They can show you and
mm,
tell you about all the conjunctions and the sextiles and everything that are in there. And
I got one free from them with the sextiles and stuff in it.
I might have passed through. No, I know what it was. I damn. Did they give you a whole breakdown? How many pages was it?
This girl, it's long. I don't know how many
Okay,
pages.
well, what I did was, I think I paid extra for something. I be paying for so much shit. I be forgetting what the hell I be paying for. But I know they emailed it to me, and what I did was went to Staples and got it printed out.
Oh.
And that's what I did. And I went down there to get it printed out. And this just how good God is. See, I went down there, and the girl that worked in Staples, she was into astrology and tarot and stuff. She didn't charge me nothing to print out that stuff.
Nice.
I'm telling you now. I'm telling you that's how God works, huh? That's how it
You
works.
like all these pages? I ain't making you pay for this, baby. I'm gonna
Yeah,
give it to you free.
yeah. We talked about, and then another lady came in the stables to get some stuff, right? And she was into astrology, so we were just in there just having a good conversation. And mine is like 30 something pages. You know how much that would have cost me if I had paid out of my pocket? I was thankful for that one.
The
Right.
approach of the astrologer to their own biases and conditioning must change. In order to move astrology forward, astrologers must be aware of and begin to shift their own biases and meet each client as a unique individual. Many astrologers use an intake form when booking new clients. Seeing a question that asks what pronouns the client
Oh,
prefers is a good thing to look.
and it's another thing too. You have to. You don't know your life path or none of that either, do you?
I'm reading some of it now.
But your life path number, and your solar's number, and everything.
Oh yeah, I do know. Is that how you when you add up your birth date?
Yeah, you add up all the
Um,
numbers. See, numerology, all that play a big part in. See, we're gonna just do a series. We're gonna just do a whole. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. I got you.
okay.
When choosing an astrologer to work with. Also, look at the language they use in their marketing and articles. When looking at your own chart, I suggest developing the use of the terms day and night and inhale and exhale as you interpret it, while becoming aware of your own deeply entrenched gender normative attitudes. For example, someone with very strong fire and air signs may be typically described as having a very masculine chart. Saying the
See,
chart has a day and inhale
that's
emphasis
me.
is
See,
far more inclusive for all.
that's because I have two trines, and I have two trines and a kite attached to my in my chart. You see, I have a grand trine and fire and air, which means I have all the elements. I have all three fire signs and all three air signs in my chart, so they call them grand trines. So I have multiple grand trines. They say in my thing, they say I'm an enigma. I said, damn.
And
I
attitudes.
said, well, look at him.
Mars. Mars is the last of the personal planets and the only personal planet to be farther from the sun than the Earth. As Mars leads us to the outer reaches of the solar system and away from the sun, the energy of the planet itself is more outgoing. Mars rules Aries, the pioneer of the zodiac. Interestingly,
That's you,
Mars
ain't it?
also rules
The bomb
Scorpio in
bomb.
traditional astrology.
What?
Traditional astrology
Aries.
generally refers
Yeah.
to practices that use only the planets and essential bodies that were visible to the naked eye, so that they assigned rulership of the signs to planetary bodies from the moon through Saturn. As traditional ruler of Scorpio, the red planet displays a night, exhale designation. In modern
Scorpio.
astrology, Mars is yang, day energy. Mars symbolizes action, drive, courage, leadership, assertion, aggression, and anger.
Oh,
Mars is
I
often
can
said
see
to
that.
symbolize fighting and competition, but it must be pointed out that Venus ruled Libra rules war
I
itself,
know a few
as well as
Scorpios.
peace.
Plus I'm
Again,
Scorpio North
astrology is
Node.
more complex than some might think. Mars is associated with physicality and competition in general. Knives and guns are also images that connect to Mars. Mars is passion, impatience, and life force, and as such is an inhalation of breath. Without Mars, we would get little done in life. Mars helps us fulfill our desires. Mars is our animalistic nature, and we all have that to a greater or lesser degree, dependent on the placement in the individual horoscope. In its night incarnation as the traditional ruler of Scorpio, Mars is penetrative and passionate.
So I guess if that's if you were born at night.
Jupiter is often called the first of the social planets, as we move farther away from the sun, and represents a transition from the personal planets to the outer, more recently discovered, transpersonal or collective planets. Jupiter is a day inhale planet, as ruler of fire sign Sagittarius. As traditional ruler of Pisces, Jupiter is night or exhale. This diffuse energy must be taken into account as you look at the planet in an individual's chart.
See, I have Jupiter in Aries. See, like I said, I have that Lilith. You know, they call Lilith the black moon. Which because see, Lilith, you got to be careful with that Lilith placement, because that Lilith it's kind of like A lot of people don't like Lilith because they say that's why they call it the black moon. Anything black they're going to try to associate with something negative, because they say that Lilith is
That's why we got to disassociate from that word.
right. And to tell you the truth, I'm proud of having a Lilith in there but you see what it is. It's all about learning how to master those signs, learning how to master those planets and everything that you have in your chart. Just like she was saying, just like you were saying, she gonna let you see the good and the bad side of each sign. You have to learn. You have to learn how to master those energies.
Yeah, because when you're aware, you're able to make the changes necessary.
Exactly.
Rules Sagittarius, the sign of truth-seeking and belief, and the ninth house. Jupiter is the guru or teacher of the zodiac and symbolizes the god energy. In the Roman pantheon, there was originally a council of 6 gods and 6 goddesses called Dei Consentes, but Jupiter became the primary god later in Roman culture. The planet Jupiter, as god of the sky, symbolizes freedom, optimism, generosity, luck, expansion, breadth, and truth.
See,
Jupiter is the prophet.
In the ninth house, I have Pisces. And you also have what they call a part of fortune, which means that part of fortune is your fortune, or your luck in the lifetime. See what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of stuff associated with that. Like I said, we're gonna get it. I got you, boo. I got you.
The world traveler and explorer. Jupiter also symbolizes grandiosity, inflation, the braggart, and the soapbox. Jupiter is often seen as the lucky planet, and this can be true, but Jupiter also represents overexpansion and overdoing of all kinds. Saturn. Saturn is the second of the social planets and the last of the original planets visible to the eye that were used in traditional astrology. Saturn rules the yin earth sign Capricorn,
right.
and yet characteristics that are traditionally seen as masculine are attributed to the planet. We must remember that all genders have these qualities within them. Saturn is a night holder energy, and it's an exhalation of breath as ruler of Capricorn. However, as traditional ruler of Uranus, Saturn also exhibits day or inhale energy. Please take into account the day or night energy of the sign placement of Saturn when you interpret your chart. Saturn is also associated with the 10th house. Saturn symbolizes external authority, as is fitting for what was thought of as the outer limit of our solar system. Other symbols for Saturn are the parent or father, or the energy of the parent who exhibited more yang energy. Saturn symbolizes boundaries, rules, and limitations, fear, denial, and control. Saturn also symbolizes maturity, tradition, sensory reality, and elderhood. Saturn has been much maligned for these qualities at times, but boundaries and a sensible awareness of limitations are important to be able to build the structures of your life. It's where we close the door, literally or figuratively, to recoup after the action-oriented energy of the day. Saturn can be the backbone and anchor of your life if you choose to work with the placement in your chart.
Right.
Uranus. Uranus is the first of the more recently discovered transpersonal planets, those that are not visible to the naked eye. Uranus was discovered by William Herschel in...
So you have Uranus in North Node and Scorpio. You know who else had that same placement? Beyonce. She has Uranus in in Scorpio as well. And it's a certain generation that was born with that placement. And we are what they call like the transformative generation. We here to transform the world. We the rebels, as they say. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at Beyonce, I can tell you who all had that placement.
1981, and it was quite a shock to discover a planet beyond the boundary of the previously known solar system. Uranus rules Aquarius and the 11th house. The discovery of Uranus opened up the discovery of collective, larger forces, which led to opening the minds of astrologers. Concepts such as the soul and major planetary cycles have previously been limited by what was thought to be a closed system with Saturn at the outer limit. This indicates the awakening energy and shattered boundaries that Uranus symbolizes. Uranus also has a spin axis that is 98 degrees to the perpendicular, which sets it apart from other cosmic bodies. Uranus represents individuality, uniqueness, unconventionality, and independence. Uranus is the revolutionary and the rebel. As such, this is a day energy of action and activity and an inhale. Where Uranus sits in a horoscope shows where you will be called to go your own way and break free from the status quo. Uranus is the inventive genius who is open to information and ideas that have not been thought of before or where connections have not been made before. Neptune. Neptune, the second of the transpersonal planets, was discovered in 1846. Like the nebulous nature of Neptune itself, it was discovered by mathematical prediction, based on hypotheses that a planetary body was disturbing the orbit of Uranus, rather than simply through empirical observation. We now know that Galileo actually observed Neptune in the 17th century, possibly mistaking it for a star. These confusing discovery experiences are emblematic of Neptune's symbolism. Neptune rules Pisces and the 12th house and symbolizes illusion, confusion, consciousness itself, psychic sensitivity, and trance-like creative energy. All realms of mysticism and mystery are symbolized by Neptune, as are addiction and victimization complexes. Neptune is boundaryless and sacrificial, but also healing and gentle. Neptune energy dissolves and makes all that it touches more nebulous. As a receptive and feeling planet, Neptune is night energy, or an exhale. Dwarf planets. The discovery of what are currently called dwarf planets by astronomers is changing astrology further and at a faster rate than ever before. These discoveries coincide with the shift of ages from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. Astrological ages each represent a major time period in history. Each astrological age lasts approximately 2,160 years, and we move through all the ages over 25,920 years. The age of Pisces began around the same time as the birth of Christianity, and we are currently in the transition between the age of Pisces and the next age, the age of Aquarius.
On, William?
Ages go backward through the signs.
Peace and blessings.
The discovery of Eris in 2005 shook the world of astronomy and led to the new designation of dwarf planet in 2006, as well as the demotion of Pluto and promotion of Ceres, formerly believed to be an asteroid, to the new designation. Since the discovery of Eris, several other dwarf planets have been discovered, including Haumea and Makemake, with Sedna, Orcus, Quarwar, Varuna, Exion, and a few.
Okay, celebrities. They have Uranus and Scorpio. Most of us were like in the 70s. Okay, you have Jennifer, you have James Franco. You know, he was played, I think he played at Spider-Man. I believe that was him. He played, the Goblin's son. I think that's James Franco. Okay, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Tara Reid, Heath Ledger, Kate Hudson, Aaliyah, Audrey Total, Katie Holmes, Brittany Murphy, Colin Farrell, Jessica Alba, Jamie Presley, Ruth Gordon, Oliver Hardy, Frank Cap. Oh, them old people there. We're going back up here. Some people y'all don't know here. Ashton Kutcher, Ryan Gosling, Jake Gillian, Pink, Barbara Lamar. Well, she's over 1896. Jonathan Myers, Natalia Orear, and Beyonce Knowles.
Trans-Neptunian objects in the Kuiper Belt being considered. Some estimates suggest that there are at least 100 objects that may be classified as dwarf planets that have yet to be discovered in the exploration of the Kuiper Belt, and thousands more beyond. Many astrologers are beginning to explore some of these objects in their work. But because this is a newly discovered realm of study with new discoveries happening all the time, this book will only cover Pluto and Ceres. Pluto is the last of the transpersonal planets used in most modern astrology. In fact, Pluto is no longer a planet according to the astronomical world, as it got demoted after the discovery of dwarf planet Eris. Asteroid Ceres got promoted to dwarf planet status at the same time, creating a whole new classification of cosmic bodies. This did not, however, diminish the power inherent in Pluto.
Tyrese Gibson, Rosario Dawson, Ryan Reynolds, Marion Cotillard, Rosamund Pike, Serena Williams, Venus Williams, Nora Jones, Nelly, Ben Foster, Chris Martin, Charlie Hunnam, Justin Timberlake, Paris Hilton, Channing Tatum, Tom Hardy, James McAvoy. Just that I can't pronounce that. That's an African name, Nigerian name. I can't pronounce it. Alicia Keys, Shakira, Christina Aguilera, Chris Pratt, Will I Am. All these are celebrities born with Uranus in Scorpio, and as you can see, they all are artistic people.
Is the energy of transformation. Is it any surprise that it, alongside the
It's a
newly
bunch of them.
discovered
It's
dwarf
another
planets,
200
is transforming
pages of them.
astrology further? Pluto rules Scorpio and the 8th house and is a night or exhale energy. Pluto symbolizes personal transformation, psychological depth, and the soul's desire to evolve. As the guardian of the underworld, Pluto guards our personal resources that are buried in the depths of our psyche. All things that are seen by many as taboo are symbolized by Pluto, including sexuality, repression, depression, and obsessive behaviors. Underlying reality and the realms of karmic wounds are symbolized by Pluto. It's an intense and powerful energy which represents both personal empowerment and powerlessness. Planetary dignities and debilities. Planets are not only considered to have rulership over or domicile in one or more signs, they are also considered to be more aligned with certain signs and less so with others. These are called dignities and debilities. Consideration of dignities and debilities after rulership will deepen your understanding of the planets and signs in a horoscope. The 4 essential dignities are rulership. This is where the planet is most at home. Reference your individual sign in this book, where I note rulership. Detriment. When the planet is in the opposite sign to its rulership, it is said to be weakened.
Let their prophets stay on cloud
Exaltation.
9.
This is the sign that provides the best expression of the planet after its domicile. Fall. When the planet is in the opposite sign to its exaltation, it's said to be at its weakest. If a planet falls in
know what I hate though? What they got? See, Capricorn, they had the devil card that represent Capricorn in tarot. That's the only thing that really make me mad. But see, like I say, they stereotype, they stigmatize everything. See what I'm talking about? The devil can live in anybody. See what I'm saying? It's a spirit, just like we spirits. It's a spirit.
To me, I feel like it's a choice too. Like we can choose to do something bad or good. Not the devil ain't making me do nothing bad, and the God ain't making me do nothing good. It's my choice.
You're right, because we both have light and dark. See what I'm saying? You got to learn how to balance it out.
They used to show us that in cartoons. Remember, they had a little angel and devil on the shoulder.
I talk about that all the time. You never heard me talk about that. I had a picture. Cause that's why I say you used to have that devil, the angel. That be that in that first intuition. They always say you always follow your first mind, cause that be the right one. That be that he said that little angel, like you said, they had that angel on their right shoulder. And then that first mind tell you don't do it. And then that second mind said, yeah, gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's that shadow side.
It is said to be peregrine, and aspects become more crucial. It must be noted that experience shows that detriment and fall don't always play out negatively, especially when well aspected.
That's what the scales of Libra represent. Balance. Learn how to balance out the light and the dark.
Brief list of planetary dignities and debilities. The Sun, rulership in Leo, detriment in Aquarius, exaltation in Aries, fall in Libra. The Moon, rulership in Cancer, detriment in Capricorn, exaltation in Taurus, fall in Scorpio. Mercury, rulership in Gemini and Virgo, detriment in Sagittarius and Pisces, exaltation in Virgo, fall in Pisces. Venus, rulership in Taurus and Libra, detriment in Scorpio and Aries, exaltation in Pisces, fall in Virgo. Mars, rulership in Aries and Scorpio, detriment in Libra and Taurus, exaltation in Capricorn, fall in Cancer. Jupiter, rulership in Sagittarius and Pisces, detriment in Gemini and Virgo, exaltation in Cancer, fall in Capricorn. Saturn, rulership in Capricorn and Aquarius, detriment in Cancer and Leo, exaltation in Libra, fall in Aries. Uranus, rulership in Aquarius, detriment in Leo, exaltation in Scorpio,
Yes,
fall
sir.
in Taurus.
That's right. Exalted
Neptune,
means that means it's
rulership
a
in
good
Pisces,
sign. That's a good
detriment in
placement.
Virgo, exaltation in Leo or Cancer, depending on
Because I
whose
have a
words you
Taurus
read,
moon. That's what they call
fall
an
in
exalted
Aquarius
moon.
or Capricorn. Pluto, rulership in Scorpio, detriment in Taurus, exaltation in Aries or Pisces, fall in Libra or Virgo. After interpreting the building blocks of the horoscope thus far, it's now time to begin to integrate the disparate parts of the chart into a cohesive story of the soul. In the next chapter, we'll look at the aspects, which are
Okay, so we're going to stop there for tonight. That's been chapter 1 through 5, and we'll start on chapter 6 tomorrow.
Okay.
What time would be a good time you want me to, let me know what time you think would be a good time for me to come on.
Girl, I don't even know what, because I damn near slept all day. I got up this morning, was up, and then I went to watch a movie, and I was watching it laying down. I dozed off to about 3:30. So if I go to bed in a little while, I might just finish watching this movie and go ahead and call it a night so I can be up early.
Well, see, I noticed that because I did like information man told me. I noticed that the best time for me to go live is like 12. It's like 12 noon, or either in the evening time around 6 o'clock. That's when but I noticed that's when most people be live too at them specific times. But a lot of times I'd like to go. Sometimes I go live early, just to go and get it out the way, and people can watch the replay. So I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever time y'all think would be best for you all. I think the evening time would probably be better.
Yeah, whichever one you want to do, I'm gonna drop my number in the back chat just in case
I don't know how to do that. I've been trying to figure out how to do all that in the private chat and stuff.
Yeah, so you can call and
Okay, I see it now. I got you. Okay, let me put it in my phone.
Yeah, and then send me a text so I can know it's you.
Okay.
And that way, when you call, it'll pop up. I'll know it's you. Because if it's a number I don't know, I won't answer it.
Make sure I'm looking at it right. Okay. I'm still learning how. I just figured out how to drop the link again. I hadn't invited anybody up since I first started streaming.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, listen, I'm gonna dial you now so you'll see it's my number. Your phone should ring in a second.
It ain't gonna ring because I got them.
Cause you only okay.
No, it's not saved in my phone. It'll just.
Oh, you got one of them apps on there.
It's a 912 number.
Yep, Georgia girl. You know me, Georgia girl. I'm gonna lock you in on mine. Yeah. Make sure I lock you, because if I don't, I'd be on a race, especially when I don't recognize the number. Because I get the most spam calls. I get those spam calls all day long. Okay, I see. I got your text. I get tired of them damn spam calls. I had one of those apps on there, but a lot of times I be needing. Sometimes I be getting phone calls like from like my doctors and stuff like that. If I ain't got them locked in, a certain if I have to go have like some tests or something done, and if it's not in my phone, I can't. I won't. The phone call won't go through, or like with my insurance companies and stuff like that. Different things. So
Yeah,
I took the app off.
So I make sure I save those important numbers in.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to leave a message, and then I'll get back with you.
Look, my darn I already got your email address in my contacts, so I just added your number.
Yeah, I sent you those pictures. Remember we were talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah. I emailed you back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you didn't get it. I emailed you back and told you thank you.
I'm about to check now. I wasn't checking because I was on here with you. I can't do too many things at once. I won't.
No. You were still you were still over in Love's. You still in Love's live. Cause after I came live, after I went live, I came over there and told y'all I was live, and you beat me back, you beat me back over here. I said, "Damn, that was quick."
Oh yeah. Because I clicked the link when you dropped it. I just clicked it because they started talking sports, and I don't really have too much interest in sports.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was like, shoot, this give me something to go be interested in.
Right. Look. Prophet blowing so much. Seems like I can smell the smoke coming through the screen.
It smelled good.
Yes, sir. Prophet, we go look. I think because I know Prophet. See, he over there on the West Coast. And see, he be missing me when I go live early. He be missing me. That's why I be trying. I know I can always look for the Prophet to
Well,
come.
maybe you should go by his time then, so he can be here because I can be up anytime. I can be up late at night until I start my new job next week. But and the training for that'll be 8:30 to 5, so I won't be able to attend nobody's live.
From 8:30 in the morning to 5 in the evening.
Yep, and it's a 7-week training. So after that, I'll have a different schedule. They'll probably have me working.
Well, what I do is I try to meet in between somewhere. Between the East Coast and the West Coast time.
Yeah. So when I do start working, if I do miss your lives, I'll catch them when I go off. Make sure I show my support.
Okay, love. I appreciate y'all coming up. Spending some time with me. Sharing your
I
energy.
always enjoy myself over here. Thank you for having me, baby.
No problem, love. Y'all have a wonderful night. And as always, go within, my love, so you never go without, okay?
That's right.